Our guy Lao finds himself confined to a bare skeleton, reaching its limit, unable to become mightier. Fortunately, Demon Queen Wu has taken considerable fascination in him. She perceives endless promise within the boy and offers him entrance to the secret land of the evolutionary blood pool. It is in this throbbing reservoir of blood and conflict he is to soak, drawing in power to enhance his lackluster lineage. He eagerly lets his brittle frame absorb the blood's vitality at an astonishingly swift pace. Even the demanding mommy Wu is genuinely taken aback by his staggering absorption skills. However, some rival group is less than pleased by these turn of events. They try to disrupt his incredible growth by attacking from every direction. Oddly, mommy Wu does not intervene at all, confident he will defeat them soundly. A scarlet cocoon encloses him as he advances in evolution, while his foes give their all to break through. Yet their efforts come too late, for when it bursts a transformed Lu emerges, nothing like his bony past. He's a new fiend forged in the darkness, the sort of fiend that can end two attackers without a blink. Yet the rest fail to heed the lesson of their allies' swift fate. They dash forward to end the terror before them, only to lose their hearts in an instant. L crushes them without mercy, much like bizarre party balloons. Not even the assassin leader withstands him, quickly decapitated without any real resistance. Queen Wu relishes the aftermath, as her gleeful daydreams become vivid truth. She delights in witnessing how decisively her protege laid waste to veterans. However, he wasn't always imposing. For once he was a worn-out programmer on the team creating this very game. For reasons unknown, his older brother vanished mysteriously while testing this actual game. Lu chooses to resign, plunging in to solve the mystery, joined by his younger brother Fei, whom he brings in-game to dig deeper. As a developer, Lu quietly coded in a secret cheat, hidden and known only by him. He leverages this secret to claim a special scroll, which grants him the rare Ashura profession. But with activation, a harsh shock pierces his chest, as severe glitches cripple the very system. Suddenly, instead of becoming a mighty Ashura, he finds himself awakening in a horrific world, trapped in bones. As he tries to grasp his plight, a frail creature with a shining staff appears, calling him its subordinate. A sly smile splits the monster's face, delighted that its summoning worked. Lu immediately detects the creature is none other than Rai, the undead summoner, a legendary boss. Yet to him, that's just an ordinary NPC, so he asks where he is. Ryan gapes at him, shocked to hear speech from a summoned skeleton. This odd event marks Lu as a unique creature, not just a typical reanimated guard. Ryan keeps quiet, so Lu figures he's worthless and turns away, searching for someone else, angering the monster who expected loyalty. Unable to endure the insult, the monster resolves to discipline Lu. With no warning, Rai chants a binding spell, trapping Lu. Confused, Lu sees Ryan readying a blast to force his obedience. Right before Ryan can attack, a gigantic creature smashes down, crushing him and freeing Lu from his bonds. Gaining his balance, Lu's disbelief grows as he stares at the beast towering above. Marveling at the immense figure, he suspects he must have entered the wrong map, unsure how to proceed, so he calls for C, who answers. He inquires about his location. She explains this is pure darkness, the home of top bosses and an extremely perilous land. Lu now feels things add up and seeks her advice if there's anywhere he can pick up a quest to move forward. C requests a second, surveys the area and discovers a task hub 100 kilometers away, urging him to trust her lead. On the trek toward C, cliffs loom with huge dragons above, terrifying Lu, but this, S insists, is fastest. Then they blaze through waters where a giant sea beast chases them. Paddling frantically, Lu asks C for guidance, receiving strength from her encouragement. She adds that his brother messages, stating he's reached level 5 and found a green staff. Faye inquires about Lu's gains and is stunned when Lu confesses he's still level 1. While texting, another predator closes in on them from the deep. Finally, their target's silhouette emerges, a colossal fortress where lines of beings stretch at the gate. Upon seeing the queue, C guesses it'll take 2 hours just to enter. But Lu spots an empty entrance. Cly protests, saying it's not the right route, but Lu has lost patience for plans. Whether wise or reckless, all Lu wants is to be inside. so he dashes toward that passage with remaining strength. He strides up without pause to the doorway, guarded by massive boar sentinels who promptly demand his reason. He hurriedly claims urgent matters. To his astonishment, one guard smirks and lets him pass without question. Amazed by the ease, Lu even takes time to thank them for their sensible approach. Yet in his wake, the guards break into laughter, clearly enjoying the spectacle. Someone remarks that he has no clue about the peril he has just entered. A booming voice inside proclaims the event at Fingyun Tower is over as victorious cheers echo through the gate. Just as Lu feels he's discovered an exit, a radiant light shines at the tunnel's end. He moves ahead, embracing the light when a powerful host's voice greets him. Confusion sweeps over him as he's introduced as a contestant, and the officials are stunned to find he's only level 1. Laughter bursts from the crowd as they ridicule his weakness. Even the host disregards him as nothing more than a disposable fighter. Still, the host stirs up excitement, hinting this competitor might surprise them, and proclaims the contest has begun, electrifying the arena. As tradition dictates, the favored commentary duo Quick-Tongue Rabbit and a Turtle take their seats, perhaps inspired by the tortoise and the hare. Although the rules are familiar, they must be heard. All duels are one-on-one with last fighter winning, all adjusted to match the lowest-ranked contestant's level, enforcing a minimum of 10, and fighting only ends in victory through elimination or surrender. For prizes, the champion earns 5,000 experience points plus a tailored epic weapon. The level balance causes complaints, with one participant angry at losing record progress and another unable to use special features, making Lu their target, convinced he's easy prey. Now Lu sees his blunder and wishes he'd listened to see, waiting with patience. Yet fortune favors him. At level 10, he qualifies for a class and a range of choices displays before him, leaving him briefly dazed. Vivid recollections of playing alongside his brothers fill his mind. They always said assassins suit his skills, so relying on their advice he picks Assassin, boosting his stats as the commentator prepares for equipment distribution. In that instant, Lu is handed a keen dagger and grows hopeful. If danger mounts, he can surrender without penalty. Yet prior to the opening match, the rabbit announces special guest instructors. Any competitor who excels may earn the honor of guidance from one of these figures of renown. Among them, Lord Zhang Hue of Blood Moon City stands leftmost, a master strategist behind the mightiest warriors, famed for guiding most of the city's young elite. Being chosen by Lord Zhang signals future greatness, reflecting in the audience's chant, and after his introduction, the rabbit reveals Lady Wu, the city's celebrated and formidable beauty. As leader of Eastern Moon Hall, Lady Wu handles resources and wields remarkable strength, favoring only one student, Han, famed for 10 straight arena wins, prompting odd whispers, although her reputation deters any direct calls toward her. At that, Lu is stunned by the name Han, suddenly aware that Lady Wu might hold vital knowledge about his brother. Still, his lingering attention does not escape observation. Lady Wu's piercing gaze settles on him, tempted to end him there, but with Lord Zhang so near, she restrains herself, redirecting her hostility and prompting the rabbit to refocus everyone on the contest. With everything set, the matches begin and the opener stars Bloodclaw, a natural-born warrior of the Blood Lion clan, their pride in battle unmatched, and Bloodclaw their standout fighter. His lethal claws have earned him the favor of the tournament predictions. True to his name, he conquers his foe with a single, overwhelming blow. The next bout begins quickly, starring Bei, the undead swordsman from the powerful, emerging South Moon Hall. As vice-captain, Bei is feared for his pitiless accuracy. His sword has ended many veterans. Unsurprisingly, he wins with little effort. Then appears Gear, the dual blades demon from the distant frontier, fighting for Blood Moon City. His talent can't be denied and another swift victory is claimed. Suddenly, the arena is rocked by an upset. Lu takes the win, shocking the crowd. His victory was so fast that it escaped most viewers' notice. Hungry for excitement, the rabbit quickly introduces the quarterfinals. The first duel is Lu against Gear. Entering the stage, Gear glares dismissively at Lu. He sneers at Lu, "Just quit, I don't care to waste energy on the weak." In Gear's mind, a skeleton barely deserves acknowledgement, yet Lu remains perfectly still. Elsewhere, Fei annihilates all goblins with a display of searing fire magic. The girls gathered sing his praises, ensuring he shines in their eyes. Still, even admired, he believes his second brother's achievements would truly amaze the crowd. He wonders how Lu fares and hopes all is well. At this instant, his brother stands before his foe, brimming with poise. The rabbit is astonished to see the supposed pawn display unyielding resolve. Even so, Gear looks unfazed, peering down at Lu, eager to make this fight unforgettable. Without pause, Gear launches his striking slash, rapidly closing in and landing a heavy blow. Much to his astonishment, Lu sidesteps. Gear blames luck, repeats his attack, but Lu avoids it again. Irritated, Gear opts for his void-rending slash, hoping for a better result. Yet again, Lu dodges with ease, astounding the announcer. How is he succeeding? Lu has studied his foe's reach, sizing up blade and hand positions. Calculating that the full arc of the blades is under 2 meters, Lu stays just far enough to avoid danger. With distance secured, Lu anticipates Gear's pattern. Another lightning-quick charge is likely. This direct rush freezes the attacker briefly. If Lu moves swiftly, it's his turn to act. All the while, murmurs ripple through the audience, their doubts kindling Gear's fury. Motivated by shame, Gear's restraint fails at last. Eager to defeat Lu, he unleashes the flash strike. As Lu expected, Gear is exposed right after using the move. Lu doesn't miss, delivering a perfectly aimed blow. He decides the fight instantly. Gear barely grasps what occurred before his aspirations vanish into nothingness. An eruption of disbelief and anticipation sweeps through the crowd after seeing the underdog enter the finals. Now everyone focuses on him for the next match. Even Jang is interested, but Wu thinks little of Lu, dismissing him as just clever, not special. Since he did at least keep her entertained, she chooses to watch longer. Jang supports this, convinced weak lineage always limits. The competition advances to the following contest, one widely believed to be the true face-off for the title. Bloodclaw stands to challenge the undead swordsman, Bei. Bloodclaw, as his predecessors did, warns Bei that he stands no chance at victory. Unmoved, Bei holds fast, believing no force can defeat him as long as his sword is in hand. Resolute, he performs the flowing water slash, a blend of 2 techniques, and attacks 5 times swifter than Gear's flash strike. As the blade draws near, Bei is certain, prepared to teach Bloodclaw the cost of taking him lightly. Unexpectedly, he loses control. Bloodclaw calmly bites into the weapon, disabling it, then prepares to retaliate. With the devastating fury of his explosive claw, Bloodclaw finishes the duel instantly. Even when Bei lies motionless, Bloodclaw berates him, showing absolute disregard for the fallen. The audience bursts with elation, shouting his name as if their champion has now arrived. Jang is persuaded that Bloodclaw deserves guidance, flawed blood or not. But Lu is troubled, he can't accept the lion-crushed Ba's blade. All arena-provided weapons are usually unbreakable, so if one broke, there has to be a deeper reason. Even at the reduced level of 10, Bloodclaw's inherent traits vastly surpass the typical standard. Before his reflection continues, Bloodclaw throws down a direct challenge to him. Lu stands unfazed, internally rechecking his logic. He's not matched with Bloodclaw, but winning leads him to Wu. Even while knowing his chances are low, and the announcer is telling him to surrender. Still, retreat isn't possible while his brother and Fei remain his only family. Fear will not make him yield. Challenges may mount, but he vows to persevere. Armed with this will, the contest kicks off. Bloodclaw happily mocks Lu, seeing him as weak and too naive to ignore provocation. He proclaims Lu will be his feast. Lu, unflinching, looks at him with the cold glare reserved for the dead. Swiftly, Lu lunges toward the lion. Bloodclaw quickly notes he's much slower than Bei and idly raises his hand to block. But as contact seems certain, Lu disappears. Bloodclaw barely manages to respond before Lu swiftly appears at his back. Realizing just in time, he knows Lu tricked him, faking slowness to mask his real agility as a dangerous assassin. Bloodclaw fires off a long-range counterstrike, but Lu easily sidesteps, igniting Bloodclaw's frustration once again. The lion's grin vanishes as he realizes his foe will not allow any direct blows. Even worse, he feels a sudden sharp pain. Somehow, amidst the chaos, he's been hurt. Bloodclaw's vision sharpens with incredulity. Unaware of Lu's strike, anger wells up within him. He approaches Lu, flinging taunts. He triggers his Blood War skill, powering up and increasing criticals by 20%. Witnessing Bloodclaw's unleashed skills, the audience quickly reconsiders whether the supposed weakling is his equal. Even Wu grows interested in what this seemingly minor beast with simple bloodline abilities will try next. Normally, such battles don't amuse her, but this one does. Bloodclaw lunges at Lu, striking repeatedly. Lu fends each attack, yet exhaustion weakens him. After absorbing so many hits, he starts to stumble, guard weakening. Bloodclaw moves decisively, aiming to completely overpower Lu in this critical moment. He taunts Lu, mocking his status. Just as he prepares his finisher, Lu reveals he's been acting, awaiting Bloodclaw's full-force attack. This formidable strike costs Bloodclaw his turning ability for half a second, leaving him exposed. Lu acts instantly, unleashing a backstab teleport to reappear behind Bloodclaw with a precise hit. The maneuver might unseat others, but Bloodclaw employs his Blood Rage roar, freezing enemies close by. A gasp rises from the stands, prompting Jang to decide he would gladly mentor Bloodclaw, so impressed is he. Wu is let down. After so long searching, she's found a fighter to watch, and Lu lacks the skills to prevail. Predictably, Bloodclaw lands a blow on L's arm. As Lu retreats, his brittle limbs fracture with a loud crack and his legs fail, convincing all the battle has finished. They wonder if the skeletal warrior will concede or stubbornly keep fighting. Bloodclaw, unyielding, laughs and plots to further ridicule Lu's tattered form. Meanwhile, Lu waits patiently, ready for his rival to stumble into the cunning trap he's laid. Bloodclaw mocks him further, threatening to shatter each bone or toss his skull as a toy, while Lu remains composed, counting Bloodclaw's strides, certain his trap will snap shut. Bloodclaw steps up, crushing Lu's broken leg beneath his heel to humiliate him further. He unwittingly falls into Lu's scheme. Lu weakly throws his dagger, which Bloodclaw casually bats away, thinking it's a desperate act, unaware of Lu's readied second hand. Lu sends his blade forward one more time, sinking it perfectly with his backstab move. Swiftly, Lu teleports and unleashes a crushing blow against the fierce lion. Bloodclaw falls at Lu's feet, leaving Jang, Wu, and everyone watching speechless and amazed. Rabbit can barely announce what's happened, so another commentator steps in, quick to claim the spotlight. He seizes his long-awaited chance, brands himself the raging turtle, and enlightens the crowd. Lu's success comes from his cunning. First, Lu shows his hidden speed, piercing the strongest despite appearing fragile, then provokes Bloodclaw expertly. When Bloodclaw turns serious, Lu feigns injury, luring him into using his powerful move. The twist in all this is that while everyone believes Bloodclaw severed Lu's limbs, Lu actually did it himself. At the breaking point, Lu activates his skeleton revival ability, letting him control a fallen bone briefly and preparing for an astonishing comeback. Despite heavy odds, he fells a mightier adversary. The wild turtle dubs Lu John Yu a Moonslayer. Though the lion is beaten badly, Lu tries to deal the final blow. Dang, on the other hand, objects. He wants Bloodclaw as his own student and intervenes, repelling Lu and unleashing a move to erase him. Thankfully, Wu shows up as well, siding with Lu. She leaps in, rescuing him while unleashing her divine piercing finger against Duang. Her incredible strength punctures Jang's shoulder, making him protest and demand clarification. Wu pays him no attention, gathering what's left of Lu, whom she's clearly fond of. She claims Lu as her own, promptly repairs him and brings him back in top shape. He's stunned that his restored skeleton is not just healed but now stronger. His thoughts end when Wu charges her attack again, shooting a fierce gaze at both the rabbit and turtle duo. She warns them to announce the outcome quickly or she'll teach them both a lesson. Frightened, they make the decision right after her warning. Lu is proclaimed the Storm Cloud Arena's new winner. The system awards him 5,000 experience points. Lu advances to level 15, also gaining a new perk, Shadow Step, which increases his speed by 20%. His attributes soar and he earns another reward, an epic weapon tailored to his growth, the Bloodstained Blade. This blade restores 10% of his offense as health, a surprising vampiric trait that stuns the announcers. This makes it ideal for long battles, a necessary edge for coming trials. Wu wastes no time. She tells her newfound teammate they are ushering in a storm cloud crisis. Lu, unfamiliar with the storm cloud ordeal, is clueless. He asks and the rabbit understands, explaining. The Storm Cloud Arena has two phases. First, the champion is decided, then the champion drops into the game world as a timed boss. For 1 hour, the boss him must avoid death and hunt players for points and experience. Those points serve as currency for new skills, weapons, and boosts. While the rabbit clarifies, Jang lets out a furious scream, angry over Wu's assault. He reminds Wu he's North Hall Lord if she intends to cause trouble. She's silent, so he then threatens to report her to the city's leader. Still brushed off, he moves on to accusations, accusing her of plotting to hoard military resources and rebel. The two start bickering loudly, much like squabbling small dogs. Lu sees this and along with the announcers quickly slips away. Before chaos erupts, Lu requests passage to the next event. Just then, a gate appears. Wu warns Lu not to fail. If he can't defeat 1000 foes, he's better off staying lost. He drops to the player world as his achievement guide triggers automatically. Since he's over level 10, a mission appears. Eliminate 1000 players as Wu had advised. The system quickly tells all players he's arrived, making him their primary target. He lands by some poorly equipped newcomers, easy opponents. Before he attacks, a rare tool notes his rank up and equips itself, enhancing his stats. Every 10 levels it upgrades, bestowing a new assassin skill with an option to exchange later. While the system assigns his skill, 4 rookie players sprint at him from each direction. He sidesteps each attack smoothly as the system assigns Lu the Hunting Scourge Blade skill, allowing 4 rapid strikes, each growing stronger from 110% to 150% damage by the end. If the skill finishes an opponent, the slashes transfer to a random enemy within 10 meters, and a killing blow adds a 150% damage hit. Lu, ever resourceful, exploits this, weakening many before activating it to double his hunts. It's as though he's flipped on a mode for instant eliminations. After dispatching his foes, he contacts C to ask if others can trace him. C explains the system shares his location in real time, fueling his determination further as a shadowy aura surrounds him. As players gather, Lu unleashes his fierce nature, plowing through them ruthlessly, then settles on a branch to reflect. Since the numbers have thinned and loot is off limits, he sees no benefit to staying idle. Before dropping down, a bold solo player arrives from the shadows. Enthusiastic, this loner schemes to claim the weapons dropped, but Lu intercepts with a single cut that ends it instantly. As the vanquished fades away, Lu searches for new prey. A second swarm of opportunistic players appears next. Swiftly, Lu dispatches them in succession. The counter climbs to 444, yet he aches for more and opts to seek out his next hunt. The recent chaos inspires him. He drops his coordinates to his brother, alluding to a worthwhile surprise, prompting his brother's rush in expectation of a gift or aid. Upon arrival, shock seizes him at the sight of fallen players surrounding the area. Elsewhere, beneath a sky laced with lightning, the solitary Luna vanquishes an epic boss alone, known as the Moonlight Knight, bearer of the sparkling Nova title appointed to top 100 regional champions. Exuding strength, she retrieves the Heart of Resilience, an epic bracelet that enhances her abilities and may trigger a defensive boost during crowd control attacks, adding 20 to resistance. Lu, seated in a tree, watches with wonder. It's his first glimpse of a solo epic boss defeat, so he requests C's help to analyze the Moonlight Knight's class details. Within moments, C reveals that it's a rare swordsman profession mixing potent stats with hybrid magical and physical offenses, simple to start yet formidable under skilled guidance. Meanwhile, Luna senses being observed and surveys the area, but she's interrupted by a band of dubious players before she can spot the onlooker. The group tries to con her into giving up the bracelet, but Luna's far too sharp for their game. Instead of playing along, she challenges them to a fight for it. A smug one attempts to charm her and flirts, fishing for her contact. But Luna swiftly rebuffs his advances, daring him and his gang to prove their mettle. Confident of victory, they attack, only to be smoothly cut down by Luna's starlight slash. As his team falls, the group's leader suddenly realizes they're hopelessly outmatched. In panic, he name-drops his guild, threatening Luna with retribution, but she's unfazed as she leaves a mark across his face with expert precision. Afterward, Luna calls to the onlooker above. Lu quickly drops down and she's stunned to see he's as powerful as any boss monster. Lu, equally startled at being detected, falters momentarily. Both understand that a direct clash would be intense and probably unnecessary. Before they can plan their escape, a wave of players pours from the darkness, hemming them in. Rival factions form, one seeking vengeance on Luna for scarring their chief, the other after Lu like he's a boss hunt. Trapped, Luna and Lu share a determined glance. In silent agreement, they rush at each other, a clever feint. At the last moment, they split off, slipping around enemies not hunting them. The ruse pays off. Most players ignore their escape, but the dedicated foes soon notice and pursue. Amid the uproar, the two factions crash headlong, neither yielding ground. What starts as pushing soon erupts into a fierce scuffle, exactly as they intended. Doubling back, Luna and Lu launch a surprise attack on the scrambling fighters. Allied players get mixed in, amid wild swings intensifying the confusion. Hits on teammates trigger total chaos, turning them against one another by mistake. The strongest hang in, believing Luna and Lu are down, until Lu unleashes his deadly blade. A merciless force, Lu cuts down all who bar his way. With 999 eliminations, dust settles with Luna remaining. With no pause, they clash once again, seeking a final duel. But just then, the system box flashes. Congratulations, Lu, you've completed the random achievement. Elsewhere, Luna sits by the sea in her wheelchair, born into privilege. She appears frail, VR helmet at rest. Her maid asks about eating, but Luna declines. Later, she returns to her room, jotting boss fight notes as Lu steps through a portal. As his random achievement dings, he achieves 1000 kills, earning mystic earrings endowed with untold power. These earrings grant race-changing power, a new look, special talent, and fluency in another tongue. He's delighted with this reward, both versatile and formidable. And again, the system speaks, honoring him for the Stormcloud catastrophe with big rewards. 1000 points, a level up to 21, and a new skill. Rending Burst Blade empowers his strike with 180% damage, cuts 20% defense, and might cause bleeding. Stepping out from the portal, the crowd's cheers welcome him. Commentators celebrate his 1000 kills, proclaiming him Stormcloud's bright new prodigy. Yet Zhang's expression is cold. Lu shrugs off critics, focusing on Wu, who stands waiting. She regards him with approval and, finding him worthy, flicks her hand to open a portal, commanding, "Follow me." They move to a hidden place, the fabled evolutionary blood pool of Blood Moon City. Lu marvels because such wonders have no place in the world he knows. Puzzled, Lu considers. Wu interrupts, "Do you grasp why Bloodclaw dominated despite sinking levels?" Lu answers with certainty. Ancestry shapes power as much as gear does quality. His bloodline is feeblest of all. Lu surveys the realm, wondering if it strengthens one's heritage, and Wu nods. Wu reveals this hidden domain belongs to her, giving Lu his choice of place for personal growth. She lets out a sly grin, remarking that nothing but fortune determines how he will transform. Elsewhere, in Blood Moon City's North Hall, Zhang grows enraged at Wu's public insult. He directs his resentment at Lu, feeling embarrassed because of his actions. His aide attempts to soothe him, promising that guarding the Lion clan will raise his standing and loyalty. Nevertheless, Zhang clings to his anger. His aide quietly advises him of a daring course, instantly catching Zhang's interest. Back inside the secret land, Lu draws blood energy from all around him. Watching closely, Wu is amazed by how swiftly he absorbs it, convinced that his potential is immense. Her reflections are briefly shattered when someone suddenly calls out her name. She turns to find the black-armored death guards from the Lord's mansion standing behind her. They declare the City Lord requires her presence now, but she dismisses them, too occupied to leave. She requests they wait, yet as outsiders they ignore her. The captain then produces the City Lord's bloody summons, insisting she must obey at once. Disobedience means death, so Wu reluctantly follows. Before leaving, she whispers to Lu about possible rockfalls, urging caution. Once she departs with the guards, the captain smirks, certain his scheme is unfolding perfectly. Soon after, Lu's power surges as blood energy swells and wraps him, tightening its hold over him. In mere moments, Lu vanishes, dissolved completely beneath the flood of blood. That is the very instant his adversaries had hoped for, to catch him helpless mid-transformation. Immediately, the Shadow Squad's leader gestures. His squad rushes in, not realizing Lu's process is alarmingly swift. He reawakens at the crucial moment, releasing a forceful blast that scatters his foes. Meanwhile, Wu and her guards press onward along the rocky slope. The captain laughs quietly, content that even someone strong as Wu must submit to the blood decree. His satisfaction fades when, without warning, Wu halts their journey to sit leisurely atop a stone. When questioned by the captain, she merely ignores him, absorbed by the chaotic struggle for Lu's defeat below. The swiftest assassin arrives at Lu's resting place first, cutting through the blood orb to end him. The defensive barrier collapses and the group stands poised, ready to verify their target's end. Much to their amazement, Lu remains intact before their startled eyes. Unease passes among the killers, especially the one sure his weapon struck home. Intent on finishing it, they rush in again, yet halt abruptly, halted by something unseen. As they glimpse Lu clearly, utter disbelief floods their faces. He's transformed, projecting immobilizing power. But Lu acts before anyone truly grasps the scene. With a flashing strike, he severs the heads of both opponents instantly. The squad leader, stunned by what he witnessed, swiftly regains his focus, knowing their mission must continue. He commands a unified strike and the team attacks with expert timing, but Lu simply steps back unhindered. Lu realizes their speed cannot match his own. Suddenly, their hearts are in his grip before understanding dawns. Still, the commander won't let the provocation stand and launches himself at Lu with everything he has. Each blow radiates fierce power, making him stronger, but Lu shrugs it off and sidesteps with ease, grinning slyly as the chief strikes again. At this realization, the commander faces the awful truth. He is hopelessly outclassed. Lu's move is too fast to counter. His strike rips away the commander's arm, leaving chaos and shock. All prior assessments of Lu prove utterly wrong, but responsibility to Zhuang binds him to see the mission through. With a shout of purpose, he signals the hidden assassins to spring their secret plan. Sensing their leader's signal, the concealed killers begin the sacred self-sacrifice ritual. They harmlessly surrender their lives, funneling their spirits into the commander. Power floods him instantly. His might grows and his lost arm regrows seamlessly. Newly empowered, he's set on crushing Lu. Lu watches on, unbothered, regarding his adversary as just another minor challenge. To assert dominance, Lu enters enemy range head-on, then reverts to a skeletal shadow to mislead the foe. Mistaking this for failing strength, the commander attacks again, hope blossoming. Lu dodges endlessly and at a ripe moment transforms back, ending his foe with a swift beheading. The commander's shock is eternalized as his decapitated body collapses to the ground. All the while, Wu stands aside, clapping for Lu's seamless display, clearly pleased with how things end. Lu, however, is motivated by a need for answers. He questions if the assassins were allied with Duang, and Wu admits it, adding that even her captors belong to that group. She, though, had already taken care of them herself. This insight allows Lu to see that Wu had always known their intentions, so he starts to suspect this challenge was staged for another trial. But to Lu's dismay, Lady Wu's interest seems drawn more to his junior than to his change. Catching her lingering gaze, Lu quickly covers himself, avoiding her attention. Yet making things even more awkward for him, Wu, clearly unfazed, tells him to put his hands down. Still pleased, a glimmer of amusement in her eyes, she grants him a wish. He may ask for anything he likes. But Lao is not foolish. Refusing to yield to her banter, he asks where his brother Han is instead. Wu hears the name, sighs and breaks the hard news: Han is already gone. Lu is stunned by this and asks for details. Before she explains, she gently points out that this is already his second question, reminding him of their rules. Still seeing how much he hurts, she gives in and prepares to answer. But first, Wu wishes to understand what drives his urgent search. She inquires why the fate of her old disciple matters so deeply. Lu instantly confesses Han is his elder brother. His words trigger old memories, a forgotten orphanage, shadowy halls, filled with unchecked cruelty toward the vulnerable. Both Lu and Fei suffered often at the hands of the local predators there. One grim day, as bullies menaced Fei's cherished bear, Han suddenly arrived and defended them fiercely. His decisive blows were enough to send the aggressors fleeing fast. Curious, Lu asked who Han was and why he chose to step in. Han gave a rakish grin and advised, "When things are hard, always keep your smile bright." He made a vow to protect them through hardship. Now, Wu sees Lu's sorrow and remembers her own years with Han. She recalls how he often sought second-hand odds and ends to give as gifts to his younger companions. Reflecting on this, Wu names a place the Infernal Purgatory, yet her words still baffle Lu. Wu recounts when everything shifted, after Han secured his Stormcloud King rank by defeating Dagodan, King of Knights. That triumph marked his 10th straight win, lifting him to lasting fame. He entered the familiar Stormcloud catastrophe, but this time, for some reason, he never re-emerged. 4 hours went by and Han had still not appeared. Strange, since usually all are sent back when it ends. Still lost, Han did not return. Worried sick, Wu used every trick she knew, searching endlessly. Much time passed before she traced his last steps, Infernal Purgatory. Now, aware of Han's location, Lu wonders why she hasn't just gone there to bring him back herself. Wu replies that a mysterious power blocks entry to the realm, making teleportation or aid impossible. Confronted with this barrier, Lu searches for ideas but no solutions come to him. Determined not to give up, he appeals for her help in gathering information about Infernal Purgatory. But as she reaches for the information, she suddenly starts to break down. A few seconds later, an error alert appears on the system. Seeing this isn't working, Lu must attempt the database himself, but C tells him he lacks permission. Still, Lu is persistent. As one of the game's creators, he deeply understands its rules and believes he can circumvent them. Switching to manual, he inputs secret codes. With each match, his confidence grows stronger. He senses this is the right path. Passing the barrier, he's surrounded by floating code and immediately unlocks the Infernal Purgatories tab. Yet the moment he enters the phrase, error messages cover the screen, warning further action is forbidden and will cause ejection. Unwilling to yield, he orders the source code to open, but instead, the code starts shifting before his eyes. Stunned by this event, he is removed instantly and finds himself in Wu's presence again. She doesn't mention his sudden exit but simply continues, reminding him she's told him everything and urges him to uncover the truth himself. Accepting he must act alone, Lu makes ready to set off on the journey himself. Before leaving, he asks for another favor, but Wu reminds him this is his third and he shouldn't expect more help. Yet she relents and lets him speak. He asks for a way to the other world. Wu says only the Stormcloud disaster lets one pass, but he's under a time lock now. She warns him that not even Han, having twice awakened in the evolution pool, managed to come back. Given Lu's own fragile state, rushing things might be risky. But Lu hears little, intently focused, unwilling to delay now that his brother might be so near. Before he can finish planning, Sevens appears with the secret method to cross and he follows her instantly. Wu notices none of this and, puzzled by Lu's behavior, asks him and he explains he's found a path to the player's world. The other side, as she calls it. Curiosity sparks within her, wondering how he learned this, but seeing his haste, she leaves her questions for later. Meanwhile, in the player's world, a gigantic blast flares in the thick woods, burning the moth creature's swarm. This destruction is thanks to the firestorm mage Fei, who now stands at level 23. His command over fire not only ensures victory in battle, but also captures the attention of many female gamers. Drawn by his dazzling talents and charming presence, the women eagerly surround him. Though Fei is lost in thought, he redirects the topic, asking where to find the high-paying equipment merchant mentioned earlier. They confirm the vendor is nearby, so Fei heads out hopefully to meet this praised seller, even offering to buy the girl's new gear after. But as Fei moves further into the forest, he spots a crowd of players blocking his passage. Without warning, more players materialize from every side, hemming him in. He immediately understands their sinister intent when they call him their fall guy. Sensing the threat, he urges the girls to stay behind him and starts readying his spells. To his shock, those he sought to shield reveal their treachery, turning on him with a strike from behind. Bewilderment overtakes Faye as he tries to fathom the reason for their betrayal after his generosity. But soon, his confusion is cleared when he overhears a guild member refer to those seemingly lovely girls as a brother. What stuns him most is that these enchanting North Guild girls are actually men in the real world. Betrayed, Faye boils with anger not for his lost valuables but due to the breach of trust and feelings. He steels his resolve to deliver his own retribution for their treachery. Yet his adversaries initiate their onslaught before he can enact revenge. Nevertheless, Faye reacts swiftly, delivering a blazing punch that immediately incapacitates two foes. As more attackers surge from behind, he launches a sweeping fire attack, felling multiple opponents. Still, their numbers overwhelm him, and the relentless fight starts wearing him down. A hidden arrow narrowly misses him, but his razor-sharp reflexes barely block the strike in time. With the conflict at its peak, a cat-like fighter advances, razor poised to deliver a lethal blow. Faye manages to block the blow using his powers, though his mana is perilously depleted. His situation worsens, having exhausted all his potions, leveling up and gifting the rest to the deceivers. Noticing his weakened state, his foes boast of victory and confess their true aim: the rare equipment he won. They threaten him, declaring the guild surrounds him and vowing to camp until they claim all his prized loot. Faye, frustrated and trapped, sighs deeply before hurling insults. Enraged, the white-haired guild master prepares his strike. Silently, Faye apologizes to his brother for failing to safeguard the treasure left his care. A shadow appears just as the deadly blow falls, striking down the silver-haired leader in an instant. It is Lu himself. Faye is startled but then overjoyed to see his brother, now in his human form at level 23. Faye seizes the moment to act pitiful as always, begging Lu and blaming the women for trying to rob him. At first, the alleged women, actually femmes, seem uneasy to spot Lu there. But their unease changes to eager excitement as they eye Lu, guessing he might be holding treasures. Yet as they get ready to strike, they abruptly notice every member of their gang lies defeated. Before they react, Faye slips behind them, taunting if they truly meant to scare him earlier. One femme boy protests, denying it quickly, but events have already turned against them. Lu and Faye tackle them easily, finishing the fight before casually walking away. As they move on, Lu mentions the strange infernal purgatory, possible clue to their lost brother. Faye dismisses it, saying the place is mere myth. Despite wondering, Lu concedes that with their current power, they couldn't survive such a place. They decide instead to make their way to the closest town for now. After some walking, they finally arrive in the southern outskirts at Nenda Town. As they wander its lanes, Lu is struck by a sense of familiarity, while Faye busies himself charming passing NPCs. In a nearby gear shop, two players anxiously dream of fetching a purple rarity item since duller finds are hardly bought. Lu boldly offers up his exclusive grade weapon next. Examining the gear, the shopkeeper announces its worth as 95,000 gold. Faye is ecstatic, that's a fortune. Lu then compliments the shopkeeper's hair, an inside-game reference. Much to Faye's surprise, the shopkeeper proudly grins and raises the buy price by another 10%. Faye looks puzzled, which leads Lu to reveal that the Easter egg was his own funny invention. This stuns Faye so totally that if he were a girl, he'd genuinely want to date Lu. With 100,000 gold in hand, they unlock the 8 tons of wealth award, making Faye the talk of the town. Next, they make their way toward the auction house, looking to sell off what remains. Outside the crowded hall, twin guards block the way, demanding a steep 10,000 gold just for entry. One young player in front begs them, saying he's almost got enough, but Goshers laugh as he's turned away. However, Lu and Faye spirits him inside along with them, astonishing the kid. Seeing Faye's prestigious wealth rank, the guards immediately part ways, letting them in with deep respect. Within shining walls, a splendid hall buzzes with affluent competitors and eager anticipation. The youngster expresses his gratitude, assures a future return of favors, then takes his leave. Soon, a poised woman appears, handing Faye a VIP black and gold card, offering to assist him throughout. She describes its privileges: no waiting in line, only a 5% commission and easy loans. Faye flirts and Lu is embarrassed. Yet Lu's thoughts wander as he spots a woman dart swiftly past him, drawing his focus. The assistant leads them to a plush suite, where they relax with tea as she goes over the auction's details. She tells them epic gear is valued, and their acquired lightsaber Stardust will be offered in the premier auction for highest gain, advising they participate for useful finds. But Faye pays her no heed, continuing his flirtation until Lu, annoyed, taps his head and passes her their wish list. Soon, the main event of the ultimate auction gets underway. The auctioneer stirs excitement, boasting marvels among today's selections, urging the crowd's attention. The first prize is the roaring heart of flame, potent for fiery prowess, devastating to wooden foes. Bidding begins at 25,000 gold and erupts swiftly to 50,000 at a raise by guest number 9. Spectators gasp. The artifact had never before topped 28,000. Shia, an elf, sits beside a fortune-seeking woman. In the end, Shia claims the roaring heart, leaving two hopefuls frustrated at their mischance. While one inquires about Shia, the other shares he's a wealthy financier, warning patience for the next pick. Meanwhile, Faye is unsettled, thinking the heart was outrageously expensive at 50,000 gold. Then comes a quirky prize, Loving Maid, a custom wearable item transforming its user into a household servant. The competition climaxes as one participant secures it for 66,000 gold. Startling everyone, the winner, a feminine guest, dons it instantly, becoming a dazzling spectacle. Next is an epic tier item, Lone Wolf's Battle Boots, offering a 2% trigger for Axle mode. Shia doubles the 40,000 start, angering rivals. Shia's relentless bids sweep through the subsequent lots, prompting frustrated participants to give up and go. Faye feels irritated too, but Lu stays serene, noting that they'll need Shia's help with their upcoming listing. At last, their item appears, Stardust. The auctioneer explains its rare light attribute gear, effective at level 30. The opening amount of 47,000 is called, and Shia confidently offers 250,000, certain of an easy win. Unexpectedly, Faye, sitting behind him, lifts his card for a fresh bid, surprising everyone, including Shia. Xiao is taken aback, and this sparks a fierce contest for the prize between them. When Faye bids 500,000, Xiao pauses, debating whether to continue the fight. Yet, a mix of vanity and the rush of competition compels him to increase his bid to 600,000. Nervous, Faye prepares to bid again, but Lu intervenes, leaving Xiao's bid as the highest until a voice in the back jumps in with a 1,000,000 bid, seizing the reward. The room grows quiet as the enigmatic girl captures the crowd's attention. With the auction over, Faye feels ecstatic with such vast earnings, while Lu begins adding up their profit. Surprisingly, despite receiving $1 million, their VIP card balance barely shifts, leaving Lu astonished. This reveals even greater fortunes in the upper city, but content, they focus on having made enough for their objectives. Once the event wraps up, they set off toward Bush Coal Village. While Faye rambles on energetically, Lu notices they're being tailed. He confronts the follower and a figure emerges. It's the same girl who bid $1 million for the lightsaber. Faye thinks she is a threat, but she explains she only wants to learn how they got the item. She lost it during a boss fight. Her name is Luna. She's the one who once faced Lu in his transformed state. Thinking quickly, Faye claims his brother bested the boss during a limited-time event to obtain the item. This news delights Luna, and she excitedly asks for a friendly battle. Lu, however, flatly refuses and walks away without any interest. Undeterred, Luna wishes to see his power herself. Nearing the village, Faye asks what the quest involves. Lu says it's not too challenging. The village attracts monsters due to a girl harboring sacred light, and their task is clear. They must defeat the monsters and escort the girl safely to the Holy Light Temple. Arriving, Faye dashes in, aiming to lead the way. Mistakenly thinking two Beast Girl residents are monsters, Faye almost attacks but stops just in time. The Beast Girls become thrilled, clearly fascinated by the arrival of an adventurer. Without delay, they take his arm and happily show him through the streets. As they go, excitement lifts the whole town as villagers gather, looking on with awe as even the chief arrives in style to applause. Faye is puzzled, not expecting this festivity after Lu's dark description, but Lu suspects the story core and characters remain intact despite the changes. Enthusiastic, the chief invites them to a lavish feast, causing villagers to erupt with happiness. Clearly, this community is passionate about their lively celebrations. While led to the celebration, Lu uses the moment to inquire about the rare purple medic found in their village. Hearing of the flower, an old villager stiffens, then urges them to enjoy the meal, awakening Lu's suspicion at once. When the meal commences, the beast folk instantly devour everything like ravenous animals. They are pigs, after all. Fei lights up at the platters, but Lu dismisses his excitement, reminding him their priority is to locate the mission NPC. Their search ends when they spot a small beast girl clutching an apple. Lu, touching her shoulder, says, "Would you join us on a journey to the Temple of Holy Light?" The girl, filled with hope, turns tearfully and asks, "Are you here to rescue me?" This action triggers mission 2. Suddenly, all the pigs start grunting, as if some wicked force has been awakened within them. The pigs morph into terrifying creatures and immediately turn on the group in a savage assault. With impressive calm, Lu and Fei vanquish both attacking beast pigs in just a single strike. Witnessing this, the rest of the pigs become frenzied and hurl themselves at Lu and Fei, sparking chaos. Before long, Lu and Fei manage to overcome the pigs, but then, to their horror, the creatures recover and rise again. Fei, anxious, turns to Lu and asks what do next. But Lu is equally baffled, as none of this matches how the game's original storyline went. The monsters attack once more and the two fight back, aware they will eventually tire and fall if this cycle persists. Seeing the peril, they abandon the fight and flee for their lives instead. During their escape, they slip into a nearby home to hide, losing their monstrous pursuers for a moment. But just as Fei begins to speak, Lunar appears unexpectedly and hastily covers his mouth. She hushes him with a quick whisper, warning that their enemies are close, and suggests whispering upstairs. Upstairs, Luna explains she arrived before them, intending to complete the same quest. But she, too, sensed the oddities of the village, deciding to investigate under the cover of night. Lu nods and turns his attention to the beast girl for answers, but finds her shivering with fear. As Luna comforts the girl, she suddenly takes off her mask, stunning them by revealing she is actually human. According to her tale, Bush Coal Village was a tranquil place at first, though pig monsters sometimes roamed nearby. These beasts weren't dangerous so long as folks wisely kept out of their path. In time, the monsters began mimicking people, making them seem even less of a threat to the villagers. Then a holy knight named Greg from the Temple of Light visited the village one unsuspecting day. At his suggestion, the people took part in a sacred ritual, but something about it seemed off. During the ceremony, when the girl was struck by pain and asked Greg about it, he claimed she was chosen and could now join the temple's ranks. However, before she could share this news with everyone, the monster pigs suddenly attacked, capturing the entire village, including Greg, who was ruthlessly killed while trying to protect them. The girl, however, somehow managed to escape and hide. Mustering up courage, she clung to the belief that she was the chosen one. She crafted a pig mask and pretended to be one of them, waiting for the right moment to run away. Now she wants to visit the holy temple to inform them about the incident. However, Fei assures her that 53 Leneshe can leave everything to him and his brother. They will handle it. Just as the girl excitedly thanks him, a monstrous towering pig spots her through the window. With its massive hands, it grabs her and pulls her out. As the beast is about to devour the girl, the trio charges at it, unleashing their spells. However, with just a swing of its arm, the beast effortlessly stops their attack, mocking them for being so weak. The trio is sent flying onto the roof of a nearby house. As they regain their footing, they wonder if the beast has any weak points. Before they can come up with a plan, the beast strikes again, smashing the entire house and sending them flying along with the debris. Thinking quickly, Lu comes up with an idea and asks Fei to support him. Hearing this, Fei immediately charges at the beast with his fiery comet spell, hurling fireball after fireball to keep it distracted. Seizing the opportunity, Lu dashes toward the beast. The beast notices Lu and tries to punch him, but Lu swiftly evades the attack using backstab in combination with his hunting death blades. He counters with a deadly strike, slicing off the beast's hand. As the severed hand pieces fall, Lu catches sight of the girl trapped inside. However, before he can reach her, several small pig monsters suddenly materialize behind him and lunge at him. Just in time, Luna appears behind Lu and eliminates them all with her starlit waltz spell. She urges Lu to save the girl, but before they can move, the beast violently shakes its severed hand, causing both the girl and the hand to drop. At the same time, the monster lets out a deafening roar, summoning hundreds of beasts from within itself. Lu quickly realizes that the beast pig is actually a fusion of the smaller ones. However, Luna, noticing the high difficulty of the quest, suspects that defeating the beast might not be their main objective. While still airborne, they come to a realization that their true mission is to bring the girl to her destination. With that in mind, they call out to Faye, asking him to cover them. Meanwhile, Faye, who is still recovering his mana, instantly springs into action. With a burst of explosions, he blasts away all the pigs attempting to chase after Lu and Luna. On the other hand, the duo is in hot pursuit of a pig that has grabbed the little girl and is making a run for it. The pig is incredibly fast, quickly putting distance between them. As they give chase, they suddenly come across a group of zombie-like villagers trapped behind bars. Lu acts at once to free them, but instead of thanks, he is met with puzzled snorts. Witnessing this, Luna flies into a rage, blaming Genesis for whatever befell them. Lu can't grasp her words, but before he can ask, Faye's urgent cries for help interrupt them, as he races desperately toward them with a vast flock of pigs determined to end him. At the same time, the girl-carrying pig charges ahead, seeking freedom at its full speed. Once the pig distances itself, it scales a tower and starts frightening the girl. But with sacred energy within her, she deftly summons a blade and strikes the pig in its eye. The pig wails loudly, lunging in anger, but right then, Lu appears and severs the creature's arm with one swing, leaving it both wounded and stunned. It wonders, how could Lu possibly have gotten there so soon? Rewind 15 minutes. While fleeing the pigs, Lu gives Faye and Luna special pills that make them disappear from sight. The concealment medications briefly perplex the pigs. Hidden away, Faye grumbles about the mission's difficulties. Lu insists that their most urgent task is to find the girl, prompting them to brainstorm a strategy together. As the pigs scour the area further, Lu covertly appears, having transformed his own body into that of a pig. He pretends to be sociable, casually inquiring about where the little girl has gone. The pig, not realizing Lu's ruse, explains that Wang, their fastest, knows every home by heart and took the girl. Lu chuckles, suggesting everyone meet at the village gate after the hunt, but the pig corrects him, saying the clock tower is the real gathering spot. Seeing his error, Lu laughs it off, blaming one drink too many for his confusion. Suddenly, a colossal explosion bursts near them. Faye rushes by, appearing to carry the girl. He's hotly pursued by a furious swarm of pigs. This was their scheme, a timely distraction to let Lu claim the tower without interference. At the clock tower, Lu acts fast, slashing down the guardian pig and pulling the girl to safety. As they run with their group, yet the beast and its minions remain in hot pursuit. To get away faster, they all take agility elixirs, instantly raising their speed by 30%. Swift enough, they dodge the brute's blows and leave Bush Coal Village unharmed. But upon reaching a safe distance, they turn around and are stunned by the sight before them. The monstrous beast smashes the earth, and in a blink, every pig, including itself, blinks out of existence. Suddenly, the pigs reappear next to them, making the group dash off as if in a wild Mario game chase. Running along in a strange side view, they notice an ostrich, leap on, and quickly put space between them and their chasers. Once they have distanced themselves enough, they dismount the ostrich and resume their escape by foot. After some time of walking, they find a stunning lake and choose to pause and rest. Knowing the pigs are still 30 minutes off, they decide a 15-minute break will help them recover. Faye and the girl joyfully play in the lake while Luna hangs back, preoccupied with reviewing her stats. Seeing Luna worried, the little girl kindly holds her hand and offers to cheer her up with a heartfelt prayer. As she prays, Luna is suddenly bathed in a radiant light, and a memory resurfaces in her mind. She sees her parents beckoning her to hurry as they prepare to depart for an unfamiliar place. The memory awakens strong feelings, and before she notices, a tear slides down her face. The little girl, seeing this, becomes uneasy and apologizes, saying she wished for Luna's happy memory. Luna gently smiles and assures her it truly was a joyful moment. Curious after watching, Faye volunteers next, He closes his eyes, then recalls eating with his brothers. Lao and Han start their usual harmless quarrel. The scene's comfort makes Faye emotional, so he jumps in the lake when the girl asks. Next, the little girl sits near Lu in a tree, admiring his unflinching spirit. She thinks he always has thoughts hidden and voices her wish to support him somehow. Lu politely rejects her offer, maintaining that he has no memories to recall. He believes dwelling on the past will hinder his progress. She shares how villagers cared for her after her parents' loss and finds comfort next to Lu. She prays for her caretakers, and as she thinks about what happened to the villagers, tears gather in her eyes. Lu tries to soothe her, telling her she's already done all she could. Her spirits lifted by Lu's comfort, she dreams of someday growing as strong as him. Reflecting on Han coming to his aid against bullies, Lu knows she will reach such strength. As their short break ends, they gather themselves, ready to resume the journey. But when the girl grasps Lu's hand, the random achievement manual activates, raising the mission's stakes. Now Lu must defeat the king alongside the Crunch once the NPC girl is delivered to them. At the same time, the beast in the village lets out fiercer roars, its power undiminished. Though they've put distance between them, the pigs keep chasing and, despite falling, restore themselves alarmingly fast. Fleeing the chasing swarm, 50 km separate them from the sacred temple. Weary, Faye drinks a potion, unaware a pig is near. Just as the pig targets Faye, Lu jumps in and cuts it down but gets hit in Faye's place. Taking advantage, Faye casts a fire spell, hurling the pig away. They continue on, anxiety for Lu's wound mounting. Lu insists stopping now means being surrounded, so they hurry onward. Near the last 20 km, they stand before a massive wall, split by a slim, unsettling gap. Seeing no other option, the group heads for the opening. Lu, watching the horde's movement, spots something odd. There seem to be fewer pigs. Inside the gap, Luna notices too. Lu fears an ambush and urges haste. Soon, they glimpse daylight. But before escape, shadows fall and the way grows bleak. Above them looms the monstrous pig, its form cutting off their path. Trapped, they ready their spells, guarding the young girl. The pigs charge and a storm of attacks erupts. This time the girl stands fast, trusting the holy light instead of succumbing to fear. Inside the sacred temple, knights insist to the bishop that only the holy light's host can stop the spreading darkness. A knight tells the bishop pigs gather at the eastern valley, sparking his fury. At once, he commands the knights to accompany him. Outside, the bishop spots a mask-wearing girl and mistakes her for an evil creature, moving to strike at once. To his dismay, the girl removes her mask, begging for assistance. She shares that she's from Coal Village, destroyed by pigs who killed every resident. She implores the bishop to save the 3 heroes who tried to protect her and who now face peril. Recognition flickers on the bishop's face as he realizes the girl carries the holy light. Overjoyed, the bishop lifts her, certain the chosen one is at last before them. Brimming with zeal, he asks if she is ready to join the holy light and help eradicate darkness. Bewildered, the girl hesitates, not grasping his meaning. Meanwhile, in the mountain pass, the 3 battle on, outnumbered yet unyielding. Worn out but resolved, they press on until the sudden loss of the girl strikes them. They call her name, but silence answers. Fear rises as Luna fears she left for the holy church alone. Suddenly, the pigs squeal in unison, hollering snacks, and stampede the other way. This bizarre change leaves Lu baffled. Even the enormous beast pig, always relentless, pivots and bolts in retreat. Sensing dread in the air, the 3 chase after the herd straight toward the temple of sacred light. But at the doorstep, the ground shivers under their feet. Their eyes widen in terror at the spectacle unfolding before them. Within the temple, the bishop stands gripping the half-devoured girl, crimson on his lips. What has just occurred? Only moments before, he had asked her about joining the holy light. She was puzzled by his words and hesitated. Still, he insisted the holy light required her. Moved by a wish to help, she consented. Without pause, the bishop bit her in twain, basking in the sacred glow that swept over him. Before the horror can take hold, the beast pig barrels in, swinging mightily. The blow sends the knight soaring, yet the bishop, now strengthened, stands defiantly. He strikes back with deadly accuracy, firing radiant beams that rip through the beast, riddling it with gaps. With the monster fallen, the bishop proclaims that the cleansing light has purged its unclean form. Enraptured by his own words, he overlooks the surge of power coming from behind him. He turns just in time to catch the oncoming blow, his gaze seizing on Lu. Lu rides his momentum, slicing into the bishop's back with a swift motion. Stumbling, the bishop quickly tries to placate Lu, saying, "I am Hannibal, friend to heroes like you." Hannibal urges Lu to join him because he's now able to defeat the pig, but Lu ignores this and demands answers. As Hannibal is about to reply, Lu suddenly surges forward and strikes him away. Lu refuses reason. He only wishes to see Hannibal fall. Trying to curb the fury, the system warns him not to slay the bishop, for only he can fell the Pig King and accomplish their quest. Furious, Bishop lashes back, blasting Lu with sacred light and flinging him away. Before the bishop can pursue, Faye intervenes, hurling a tempest of fire all around him. Despite grave wounds, the bishop holds his ground, charging them with indomitable resolve. In that instant, Lu and Luna join their energy beams, blasting Bishop powerfully and leaving him motionless. As Bishop hits the earth, Lu fixes his gaze on the beast pig, noticing tears gleaming in its eyes. The beast softly utters Snack. A memory appears, a young piglet once rescued by a girl named Snack. She had kindly cared for its wounds and wished aloud the pig might someday resemble a person. Before leaving, she wrapped its injuries and promised she would come back the following day. The pig started to cherish the girl, but she was never seen in the village again. Still, he clings to her dream. To grant it, he imitates villagers hopeful of reuniting with her one day. When they hear his tale, Faye and Luna ask why he assaulted the place that Snack had called home. With a wild cry, the pig asserts he did it only to shield Snack from harm. He reveals that he overheard knights plotting to use Snack, the host of light, and sought to keep her safe. Lu then questions the state of the villagers, to which the pig answers that they made too much racket. Trying to hush them, he locked them in the sty, telling other pigs to treat them just as they would any pig. Worried, Lu wonders if the beast can heal, but the pig insists recovery will follow the bishop's demise. Yet the pig's burning continues, confusion growing, as flames betray the bishop's presence and holy light. As a barrier grows around the bishop, Lu charges forward, but it finishes in time, dragging Lu inside. The system swiftly informs that this is the holy light's domain, granting grand powers to its master. Inside, Lu appears in a grand throne chamber where Bishop sits, welcoming him, which sparks Lu's anger. Before Lu can come close, Bishop brings forth a ray of light from orb after floating orb above them. Though swift, Lu understands quickly that Bishop's will controls the orbs and rules this stellar realm. Bishop affirms this, then asks Lu, before ending things, why he attacked in the first place. In his anger, Lu yells that Snack came to the Bishop for help, but the latter deceived her trust. He tries to attack again, yet Bishop swats it away without strain. But as Lu speaks, Bishop hesitates, suddenly aware of the depth of their misunderstanding. He states that he has found this world's parameters, a realm governed by levels. As Bishop, his job became setting heroes on quests for security and honor. But as the years pass, curiosity stirs when a hero returns mighty and beloved by the world outside. He then journeys out, discovering a thrilling land far and wide, brimming with shadows and monsters. Despite constant battles, he struggles to level up until he witnesses weak rats surviving by devouring their own. Realizing that strength comes from consuming others, he embraces this brutal method to evolve and grow stronger. Lu quickly understands that Bishop has reached the conclusion that killing and consuming others is the key to gaining strength. As for the girl, Bishop reveals that she was chosen by the light, making her the ultimate sacrifice. Devouring her would have granted him an unparalleled surge in power. This revelation enrages Lao even further. But Bishop remains indifferent, justifying his actions by claiming that he has saved many lives through this method. Without hesitation, he unleashes the Holy Lightfall spell, aiming to end Lao once and for all. However, Lu counters with a powerful burst blade attack, slicing through the cascading starlight, shattering them midair. Growing frustrated, Bishop summons his Holy Light Spear and hurls it toward Lu, catching him off guard. The spear pierces through him, multiplying as it strikes, forcing Lu to his knees. As Lu kneels before him, Bishop continues to ramble about achieving greatness by using people like him as mere stepping stones. Coughing, Luokli calls him a mad pig, a remark that instantly enrages Bishop. In a fit of fury, Bishop opens his mouth wide and charges straight at him. However, instead of fear, a sly smile forms on Lu's face. In an instant, he transforms into his skeleton form, triggering a boss warning. Mid-charge, Lu seizes Bishop's holy light-infused hand and with a single devastating swing, rips it clean off. This action causes the random achievement manual to glitch, updating the mission objective to kill Bishop. Enraged, Bishop retaliates but Lu swiftly dodges and rises into the air. Summoning his most powerful weapon, Lu forms the hunting death blade, unleashing a relentless assault that strikes all 999 light orbs, amplifying his attack combo. Suddenly, the attack redirects itself toward Bishop, slashing through him with merciless precision. A deafening explosion of light erupts, illuminating the battlefield. Outside the barrier, Faye becomes excited upon seeing Lu emerge completely unharmed. Luna, however, is in shock that he single-handedly defeated a boss in its own domain. Meanwhile, the Pig King's body has fully recovered. He cradles Snack's lifeless body in his arms with tears streaming down his face. Without a word, he carries her back to the village. Watching them leave, Lu turns to Faye and asks if he has completed his mission, leaving Faye confused. Suddenly, the system notification appears. Mission failed X3. Before they can react, the system begins resetting the random missions and reloading the character data. As the reload completes, Snack awakens in her bed. Disoriented, she quickly realizes that she is unharmed and overwhelmed with relief, thanks the holy light for reviving her. Determined, she jumps out of bed and storms out of her house as she needs to return to the piglets she left in the forest. As she walks through the town, the villagers greet her warmly, wishing her a good morning. Grandpa, however, stops her with a stern warning that there are human-eating monsters in the forest, so she needs to be careful. Hearing the alarm, Snack drifts into thought and accidentally collides with the village leader. Worried, the leader checks on her and introduces a holy knight, suggesting he examine her. As the holy knight reaches out, Snack's body grows tense. With sudden resolve, she whirls around and darts off, crying that she refuses to channel the holy light. While running, she spots Lu strolling by. His presence stirs a vague memory. She thinks he spoke, but before she understands, he vanishes into the crowd. Meanwhile, the village chief apologizes to the holy knight, who remains thoughtful. He sees that the girl is pure and would serve well as a host for the bishop. The knight asks the chief to bring the girl later. At the same time, Lu, disguised, walks quietly beside him. Swiftly and silently, Lu cuts the knight's throat, so discreetly that even the chief takes no notice. Later in the woods, the piglet waits for Snack. This time, she comes, reuniting joyfully. Nearby, a trio watches in silence from a cliff. Preparing for new quests, Lu says goodbye to Luna, walking away as Faye pleads to join their crew. Watching them depart, Luna ponders how their tasks have grown more peculiar and unreliable. NPCs and monsters are straying from the script, and she suspects everything links back to Genesis. She believes that working as one will reveal the hidden truth. Lu consents, prompting all three to once again share names, this time as official teammates. Suddenly, a notification announces server maintenance to everyone. They exchange goodbyes, their emotions lingering as each goes their separate path. Exiting the game, Luna watches the virtual world dissolve before she's welcomed back by her eager cat. She quietly strokes her pet, recalling friends made in-game, but coughing soon interrupts her peace. A maid arrives, reports her father's request, and gently helps her into the wheelchair. The maid escorts her to the office door and waits outside. Luna gathers her courage, then knocks on the door. When the door opens, Luna wheels herself into an immense room lined with glass aquaria. Silence fills the space until her father finally acknowledges her presence. He asks about her exam and urges her not to embarrass him during the final assessment. With his message sent, he lets her go. As this happens, a shark silently stalks a smaller fish in the aquarium. Meanwhile, Lu and Faye make their way to a hot pot eatery elsewhere in the city. They find themselves greeted by a bubbling, aromatic hot pot upon arrival. Faye, thrilled, dives into the food with eagerness while Lu respects each rule of formal dining. While eating, Lu catches fragments of the neighboring conversation about moon fantasy. The group speaks admirably about the game's many levels, monsters, and intricate systems. Yet, their curiosity grows as they wonder if the game's missions are randomly assigned or tailored per player. Lu, overhearing, begins puzzling over how exactly the missions are designed. His own quest had been set on defeating the Orc King, only to discover that the orc was good and the bishop the real foe. It would not be long before Lu became a boss character in the game himself. These contradictions unsettle him, especially since his self-made cheatbook now seems to glitch its intended use. He wonders if such strangeness is from all his code changes or perhaps related to Genesis, Luna's enigma. Or perhaps it's all because of purgatory that Wu described, pulling Lu back into thick confusion. He senses he no longer pilots his own creation, feeling it slip away from its original path. As these thoughts consume him, the waiter appears with Faye's 5 steaming bowls of egg-fried rice. When Faye kindly offers to share, Lu slips into a memory of a winter from their youth. He remembers Faye in tears after someone destroyed their beds and left them in a terrible state. Their oldest brother, livid, was certain an earlier bully was responsible for the cruel act. Han planned to ask the headmaster for bedding, but Lu admitted he'd been told 1 sheet was the limit. That frigid night at 18 degrees, they all squeezed beneath 1 blanket, seeking what little warmth they could. The youngest of them, Faye, was worn down and asked if hardship would define their lives. Lu and Han offered quiet hope. Yet, Faye confessed his greatest wish was just to have 3 helpings of egg-fried rice. Now, Faye realizes his small dream, enjoying every bite, while Lu warmly observes his younger brother. A bit later, within the game, a message announces an expansive event is about to begin. In 1 hour and 15 minutes, the Iron Wall Kingdom warriors gather. Only a single minute remains to register. Yet at the gateway, a formidable sentry blocks the entry of furious players, announcing that sign-ups are at capacity and ordering their retreat. Amidst the turmoil, Lu slyly slips a pouch of coins to the guarding sentinel. The guard promptly grants Lu and his allies passage, intensifying the annoyance of the waiting crowd. With moments left, Lu and his company step within the kingdom, though only at its edge with the central castle still ahead. As the timer hits 0, a colossal wall falls from above, surrounding the castle in its entirety. This unforeseen obstacle imprisons Lu and his team, leaving them alarmed and confused by these strange events. While they grasp what's happening, a distorted digital display appears before their eyes. On the screen, Walter, the Iron Wall Kingdom's Minister of Foreign Affairs, greets them as the event's host. Walter announces that this event was organized to mark the birth of the kingdom's princess. Over the years, the princess was celebrated for dazzling beauty, gentle enough to warm frozen land. However, a fierce dragon took her prisoner, making her rescue the quest's aim. 10,000 contenders each receive a badge. Luna suspects this is more than a quest, it's a 7-day contest to amass badges, with the top 100 advancing. 3 paths to more badges exist. First, by discovering them hidden throughout the lands. The second method means defeating monsters, which may reward badges when vanquished. Finally, the most intense way is to seize badges from rivals, with each player's count seen above their head. Walter completes his explanation and officially kicks off the 7-day event countdown. With just 1 badge apiece, Lu's team moves out without delay. Suddenly, a rival team approaches, wishing to propose an alliance. The leader reveals his intention: to unite 100 players as one force, aiming for guaranteed victory. But Lu declines swiftly and walks on, unaffected by the suggestion. The other leader fumes inside from rejection, swearing revenge if their groups cross paths. Moving along, Faye asks why Lu refuses an alliance. He replies that adding poorly skilled members is useless. He explains that after toppling the bishop, he claimed a unique God Slayer's Guild badge with special properties. Everyone teaming with Lu will belong to the guild. As it grows, bonuses increase. Thus, Lu selects only the most fitting allies. Once inside the forest, Lu's party immediately hunts monsters, gathering scattered badges swiftly. As their stash of badges mounts, they stay alert for new monsters to challenge. Faye soon spots a hidden enemy ahead, and Boulder now steps forward, insisting he'll fight it solo. Just as Faye readies his fire blast, another player swoops in and attacks at the same moment. Their joint assault brings down the beast, making it drop badges for them both. Annoyed, Faye accuses the girl of claiming his victory. Equally upset, the girl refuses to yield and immediately charges Faye, seeking to seize his badges by force. Faye, unwilling to fight a girl, backs away while calling to his brother for aid. In a flash, Lu appears, pressing a knife to the girl's neck, but she quickly shouts for help. Her sister springs to her side, grabbing Faye and Luna mid-charge, restraining them with ease. Now, Lu holds the girl at knife point as her sister locks Faye and Luna in a powerful grip. This woman, let's call her Mommy, has 50 badges and Luna feels her power as the grip tightens. Still, Luna's main worry is Faye, struggling as Mommy chokes him. It should have been her. Driven to help, Luna triggers her star power, briefly stunning Mommy. The move works, so Mommy relaxes her grasp. Luna quickly attacks, but Mommy blocks in time to defend herself. Even in this skirmish, Mommy sees Luna's talent and Luna admits her foe's impressive might. Knowing she must force a misstep, Luna uses Crescent Moon, sending a sweeping crescent slash at Mommy. Mommy dodges by leaping, giving Luna the break she needs, and she sprints forward for a strike. Yet Mommy reacts fast, blocking easily, proving brute force won't save Faye. Meanwhile, the girl Lu Grip starts mocking them, saying that all three combined are no match for her sister. As Luna readies another attack, Mommy abruptly stops her, shifting her gaze to Lu. She singles him out, stating she wishes to challenge him. Lu responds silently, accepting the duel with a nod. At once, Mommy secures Faye aside so he can't meddle, then prepares herself to fight. Drawing closer, in an instant they clash, unleashing fierce and powerful strikes. Each blow is met and countered sharply, their battle sparking a surge of wild energy. Everyone soon sees that both Lu and Mommy are far above ordinary fighters, matching the very best. Lu moves with steady ease, every motion measured and purposeful without wasted energy. In contrast, Mommy counts on sheer strength, throwing precise, forceful punches full of skill. The forest blazes with energy from their fight, every collision trembling the earth as Mommy grows more awed by Lu. Amid their clash, she suddenly asks to be his girlfriend, catching Lu off guard and unsure. Her sister, just as puzzled, wonders why. Mommy explains her instincts never mislead her and Lu scores at least 80 in her eyes. He's too special to lose. Mommy dedicated a decade to sports. Despite dominating every opponent, no one challenged her privately and romance eluded her like a ghost town lobby. With over an hour of dating sim expertise, Mommy feels Lu is truly her ideal partner. She declares her feelings, striking the ground and sending a shockwave, cheerfully asking if Lu likes stories from dreaming games. But Lu rejects her instantly and effortlessly blocks her attack. Quickly, before she can act, he reaches Faye's cage and opens it quietly. Once free, Faye encourages Lu to consider Mommy, noting he's never dated before. This revelation only deepens Mommy's feelings for Lu, her affection growing with every heartbeat. Suddenly, her dreamy thoughts are shattered as an arrow tears through her arm. Before she can even register the pain, danger piles up, forces now envelop them entirely. Hundreds of adversaries, loaded with plentiful badges, begin advancing toward them. The rival leader tells his squad to deal with the others, reserving Mommy for himself because of her badges. Both Lu's group and Mommy's side feel a flutter of nerves but swiftly ready themselves for combat. As the foe orders his team to strike, a stunning event interrupts everyone's plans. A vivid red beam slams down, encasing the region in a formidable shield. Again, a virtual screen appears. Walter's assistant begins to update participants with new rules. Now the Iron Wall Kingdom will unpredictably launch a game of Rush for Blue, Dodge the Red. Zones glowing blue will gift items, boosts, and good fortune. Red ones hold traps, penalties, and wild anomalies. After giving her message, the assistant says goodbye and vanishes. Sudden dread overtakes the group. Their current spot glows in ominous red. A notice screen pops up, verifying terrible news. It's an unstable spacetime area. Per the new rules, any adventurer who enters the zone will be scattered to random places across the kingdom. As everyone starts teleporting away, Lu tells his team to keep collecting badges and meet at the center if nearby. The player count now dwindles to just 8,000. A chilling twist, leader is stranded with Mommy, watching helpless as she dispatches other players with ease. The leader begs for leniency, trying to bargain for his safety. But Mommy is unmoved, using her fury to hurl him against a tree, claiming his badges without hesitation. Suddenly, she realizes she hasn't learned Lu's name, and her thoughts wander into dreams of potential children's names. Elsewhere, Faye and Mommy's younger sister Chili introduce themselves, sharing polite words at first. Out of nowhere, Chili fires at Faye, forcing him to leap aside at the last moment. Still upset about losing her badges, Chili insists they must fight. Faye understands there's a mix-up and tries to explain, yet she refuses to accept it. As she rushes him, hands ablaze, Faye swiftly proposes they trade sibling secrets since their siblings seem fond of one another. This halts Chili, surprising her. Relaxing by the fire, they laugh, share stories, and decide to help each other search. Meanwhile, Luna finds herself alone elsewhere, anxiety filling her thoughts. With no map or way to communicate, she's stranded. Luna recalls her father's warnings about continuing to the end. Though always distant, she thinks he cares in his own manner and wants her to thrive. Despite suffering harsh experiments before, her resolve is unbroken and she's ready to survive. As memories weigh on her, a giant beast numbered 999 looms from the dark, silently threatening her. At a different spot, Lu faces a tenacious opponent whose abilities mirror his own. Earlier, Lu arrived alone after teleporting, immediately assessing his new whereabouts. After noting the lights and sounds, Lu confirms he's solo and decides his team is safe, so he focuses on badges. Harnessing his stealth skill and unique cap, Lu starts his pursuit in silence. Nearby, players are locked in battle against monsters. Moving like lightning, Lu dispatches both monsters and people at once, snatching their badges with calm ruthlessness. Though such opponents add little to his badge haul, Lu knows stronger monsters appear as his collection grows. So his plan is to target weaker zones first. Elsewhere, Xiao, loaded with legendary gear, devours monsters while his fan admires, transfixed by his every feat. In the midst of their chatter, Lu quietly approaches unnoticed from behind. Just as he moves to strike Xiao throws his girlfriend forward as a shield, causing Lu to kill her instead. Xiao is furious at the attack and readies himself for battle. Lu rushes forward and Xiao sends a mighty wave from his enchanted blade, but Lu vanishes in a flash. Glancing around, Xiao sees Lu above him but reacts too late. Lu slices swiftly and ends him. Another adventurer nearby is stunned by Lu's speed. Lu doesn't even notice the witness at first. When Lu looks at the adventurer's insignia, he is stunned to find the rival still has a rank of 0. Believing his target stolen, the player quarrels with Lu, promising revenge, and their violent fight shakes the ground. Lu calmly defends, dodging every furious blow. Lu's unmatched defenses impress his opponent deeply. Swiftly, Lu answers back with a fierce burst, violently hurling the player away. His foe bounces to his feet and strikes with wolf mist, casting a brilliant beam towards Lu. As smoke lifts, Lu remains untouched. They sense each other's power, but Lu ponders. Victory yields him nothing since the other has no badge. The challenger, grinning wolfishly, calls himself Fun, and Lu introduces himself in return. Once more they dash at each other, both set on toppling the other. They resume their savage duel, but Lu parries every offensive. Spotting an opening, Lu dashes back, comparing fighting Fun to facing an unpredictable beast. He desperately needs to pause and recover. Lu positions his serpent spirit to flank Fong, while his adversary sets his wolf ready for ambush. Both spectral creatures meet and clash, sending waves echoing through the trees. Far off, several gamers spot the eruption. Their captain stops them and instructs his fourth brother to find a delayed form mate who has yet to return. On cue, the fourth brother digitally disappears to investigate. Meanwhile, Lu begins to catch vulnerabilities in Fun's technique, seeing his endurance decline. Fun's joy erupts, relishing a rare duel against a capable opponent. The fighters launch themselves at one another, weapons clanging. But as their swords cross, Lu is suddenly struck by the sense that something is odd about Fun. All at once, a rush of energy bursts forth from Fun as he charges and hurls Lu through thick trees, smashing him into one. Lu is puzzled that knocking down Fun only makes him tougher each time, but soon understands why. Fong's secondary skill, Bloodbath Serenade, boosts attack by 1% for each 1% health lost. Power growing, Fun leaps at Lu, who quickly dodges, realizing weaknesses still show in Fun's offense. He understands that Fun is purposefully wounding himself to activate his passive, and leads the chase toward monkey beasts barring his way. Acting without pause, Lu releases his spectral deathblade, slicing through them and swiftly stacking his combo. Watching closely, Fun falters for the first time, becoming cautious of the dangerous potential of Lu's strike. As Lu's combo mounts, Fun interrupts with a sudden blast, filling the surroundings with flames. Stunned, Lu recognizes that Fong owns the same power as a past special event boss he faced. Fun remembers his superior's warning about haunting Deathblade and the urgent need to break its spree. Keeping the advice in mind, he keeps pressing, blocking every tactic Lu tries. Even as Lu unveils his last resort, Fong's trait keeps fueling his strikes with bigger strength. Undeterred, Lu begins drawing an extraordinary burst of energy to himself. The sheer momentum drives Fun back. Yet Fong refuses to flee, his excitement building as he claims Lu revived his fighting spirit. Up above, an archer quietly readies his arrow to aid Fun. Right as Lu rushes at Fun, a hidden arrow pierces him from the archer, flooring him at once. Fun, even with the help received, looks on in disbelief at what just happened. Seizing the moment, Fun launches Wolf Mist Basket, casting it toward the airborne Lu, then hits him head-on. The strength from the blow plummets Lu into the waters below. Both Fun and the archer appear baffled. Despite winning, their badges are completely unchanged. Squinting, the archer accuses Fun of letting Lu flee, insisting that he neglected Wolf Exhaust to finish the job. With a vexing grin, the archer says if Fun didn't want to kill, their leader should have ended it. Fong's face twists with brewing anger. But before tempers flare, the archer brushes off the moment and strolls off, saying the leader awaits Fun. Gazing at the rippling water, Fong quietly wishes for another true match with Lu someday. Far off, Faye and Chili are getting on splendidly, chatting about how amazing Faye's brother Lu is. Suddenly, as they journey, a lurking troll monster launches a surprise attack. Faye instinctively shields Chili, urging her to stay back, yet she forcefully pushes him aside instead. Without pause, she calls forth the Fire Dragon Tornado, consuming the troll in fire until nothing remains. After dealing with the beast, they resume chatting about their siblings as they handle more trolls with ease. Discussing Chili's animator role, they dispatch the monsters with ease, hardly breaking a sweat. Faye unknowingly offends by mentioning animators' low wages, causing Chili's mood to turn dark. Quietly, she turns her pent-up anger onto the nearest troll, turning it swiftly to ashes. An uneasy silence envelops them as they walk further along the path. Faye realizes he shouldn't have mentioned Lopai, making things feel strained between them. Moving onward, they encounter a mermaid monster who surfaces, sporting 300 adventurer badges. As soon as she notices them, the creature sends out a piercing scream that fills them with unbearable pain. Overwhelmed by the noise, Chili collapses, then Faye falls too. The mermaid uses Stitch to fuse them together. Awakening as a bizarre fusion of two into one, they try to grasp the new and disturbing reality. While the pair struggles to understand, the mermaid mocks them, saying she has gifted them splendid attire. Their fear deepens as they see her preparing some form of magic behind her. While the waters settle, a horrid tentacled beast rises, poised to feast on them. They try to escape but stumble, realizing with horror that they are now forced to move together as one, then promptly argue over control and boundaries. Even the mermaid sighs at their squabbling, before using magic to draw them nearer. Dragged toward the beast, they set their arguments aside out of necessity. With limited choices, they agree to each operate half of their joined form. Combining efforts, they soar into the sky with fire magic, angering the mermaid who despises fire. In revenge, she hurls a fierce rush of water at them. Clumsily, they fail to dodge and are struck head-on by the blast. They wobble uncertainly, finding it a real challenge to operate only half at a time. Despite the lack of harmony, they manage a barrage of fireballs while airborne. The blaze sears both their foes, but the tentacle beast rapidly puts out the fire with an outpouring of water. Retaliating, it spins water to form a whirling prison, trapping them, where disagreements hinder any attempt to get free. Yet amidst all their quarreling, an idea suddenly dawns on them. Acting instantly, they join hands, blending their magic into a single, concentrated force. A fierce burst of fire explodes overhead, setting off clouds of steam as it sizzles the nearby water's surface. Escaping the liquid prison, they choose at last to join forces. The mermaid, furious from the burning, prepares to cast her stitching magic once again. They glide together in seamless unity. Now they dodge her blows with ease, weaving through her attacks as if their moves are part of a dance. They invite the sea to play melodies and, moving in tune, channel energy into a roaring flood of fire. In unison, their blazing assault strikes the mermaid, engulfing her in flames and leaving only ashes behind. Elsewhere, the daunting 999 badge beast grips Luna tightly, enraged that she has slain its children. Back under the surface, the mermaid leaves behind treasures and growth, and Chili rises in strength as a result. Though they stand apart, Chili and Faye remain linked by their hands, sorting through the fallen items together. Chili suddenly notices their hands are still linked. Feeling her face flush, she releases her hold, redirection the topic, asking aloud what their siblings could be up to now. Meanwhile, deep in the trees, Mother gazes from a cliff, the very spot Lu tumbled from a short while before. Lu's subtle essence goes unnoticed, but it stirs a tempest of fury deep within her. In blind wrath, she smashes the entire cliff down. Thinking Lu's tumble wasn't by chance, Fun perches on his vanquished foe nearby, a spine-chilling fear creeping over him. One ga o da en a Cyrillic letter 45635 haya ve len. Just then, his leader alarms him about a nearby threat. A 500 badge creature is close. This heightens Fun's thrill. His combat spirit, sparked by Lao, continues to burn. Lu now drifts helplessly, reduced to bare bones and incapable of motion in the water. After his fall, he stayed vigilant, eyes watching the water's edge, set to reply from beneath. But in an instant, a poisonous fish catches him off guard. The toxin starts to seize his mind, so he morphs into his skeleton state, hoping to elude hungry fish. As he drifts along, a twisting vortex forms, drawing him inward. Having recovered his senses, he suddenly discovers himself inside a dark, damp cave. Standing upright, Lu observes odd gaps in the rocky walls, suspecting a giant creature's handiwork. Alone, he regathers himself, drinks a healing elixir, then bravely continues on. Journeying further into the cavern, he stumbles upon a section crowded with enormous green eggs. Surprise hits him as he identifies Luna's sword resting by one of those eggs. Acting quickly, he cuts open the egg, discovers Luna, and swiftly helps her out. Yet, as he moves to rouse her, the lurking 999 badge beast drops down, seething with brutal intent. When the beast lunges, Lu covers them both, blocking its forceful assault. Even as he braces, he senses the overwhelming might driving the creature's blow. The monster retreats briefly before attacking with a rapid onslaught from several arms. Evading strikes, Lu calls for Luna's magic and wonders how she met such a formidable foe. Furious, the beast accuses them of harming its young. Realizing the dire threat, Lu suggests teaming up in battle, and Luna consents. With resolve, both spring forward to strike their foe together. Luna targets its limb while Lu weaves aside, delivering a blow from an alternate direction. Catching a gap, Luna bursts forth with starlight slash, driving the beast to dart into a tunnel. Observing, Lu discerns these holes are really tunnels dug by the beast as its escape. As the monster withdraws, the earth shakes beneath their feet. Noticing peril, they jump aside as the monster's tail bursts up and barely misses. No weak points show amid the attacks, prompting Luna to split up, hoping to distract it. As they diverge, the monster aims at Luna, presenting Lu a brief window. Assessing its rhythm, Lu slashes off the tail and the beast stumbles, shrieking in pain. Thrashing in hurt, the monster slams the ground, sending a huge wave of force out. Blocking debris, they recognize their struggle is hopeless. Lu suggests Luna rest while he distracts. Yet after 2 hours of blows and defense, the battered beast remains, its health unchanged. Lu tries to assure Luna, insisting the end must be near for their foe. But to their horror, the beast eats one of its eggs, instantly restoring all its energy. Suddenly, it shrieks a dreadful nightmare cage scream, leaving them rooted where they stand. Lu is drawn into his mind, finding himself lost in dialogue with himself at a quiet cafe table. He tells his character that the truth comes from within, but the character insists he cannot surrender. The character argues they found a clue about infernal purgatory from Wu, hoping it will lead to his brother. But this response only upsets Lu, who accuses himself of chasing illusions and being blinded by fantasy. He ridicules his character, urging him not to waste life searching but instead to honor his brother's wishes through real deeds. These words leave the character silent and contemplative. Lu rises, reassuring his character that things will turn out fine. He proposes opening a home for orphans, offering shelter to children who have lost their families. He stresses this is a better path than wandering in search for his lost brother through fantasy. As he speaks, his character, burning with anger, accuses Lu of being a tormentor inside a nightmare shaped by a beast. Aware of the falsehood, Lu breaks the illusion and snaps back to now, finding the monster ready to crush him and Luna. Instantly, Lu awakens and fiercely cuts through both of the monster's hands to set them free. He quickly hands Luna a draft to dispel illusions, waking her in moments. The monster seems unfazed, pondering if they should have stayed lost in illusion, but this only intensifies their fury. Together, Lu and Luna launch their attack, closing in on the beast from both flanks. The monster attempts to defend itself, but uncertainty clouds its mind. Its shrill shriek meant to weaken them fails, they're more relentless. While it tries to heal with an egg, Luna swiftly hacks its hand off. Terrified, the monster tries to flee underground, but Lu is already behind, delivering a blow that claims its head. As the beast collapses, Lu's badge number rises by 999. He apologizes for taking the score, but Luna forgives him. With 2 days remaining, there will be enough opportunity for Luna to gain even more achievements. Preparing to leave, a monstrous voice echoes and freezes them both, realizing it's coming from within the creature's belly. A smaller yet familiar beast bursts out of the carcass, angrily demanding to know its killer. Seeing Lu and Luna, it attacks at once, knocking Luna aside and blasting Lu with a green beam. Assuming victory, the monster jeers at their weakness. Yet when rocks suddenly fly, it suspects deceit, not defeat. It eviscerates the rocks with ease, but their assault was distraction. Lu and Luna strike, but the creature guards and dismisses the encounter before tossing them away. Brimming with arrogance, the beast taunts the duo, deeming their attacks little more than a dull spectacle. Not wasting a second, Luna rallies every ounce of strength, lunging as Lu positions himself to attack from behind. While Luna slices at the monster, it effortlessly dodges her blows, mocking their feeble attempts. But just as the creature wears a smug grin, it glimpses Lu closing in, realizing Luna's strike was a mere feint. The instant it tries to use its beam, Lu has already prepared his backstab, slashing swiftly at its rear. Hurt, the beast flies into a fury, sapping the life from a nearby egg, healing itself fully and astonishing the pair. The two quickly see that the monster cannot die as long as any of those eggs survive. Gesturing at them, the creature commends their teamwork but smugly points out they remain weak alone. To illustrate this, it casts a copying spell, spawning 2 clones and begins attacking Luna and Lu at once. While split, the monster grows weaker overall, yet degrees of resistance persist. Luna is dragged below as Lu faces dogged assaults above. But suddenly, the monster freezes, bewildered as, despite heavy blows, Lu keeps laughing. All at once, Lu triggers his burst sword, chaining cuts in a series, shredding egg after egg. At first, the beast mocks Lu's magic, but its confidence crumbles as every fallen egg multiply the blade's force, spreading dread. Panicking as he senses disaster brewing, the monster dashes between them, unleashing an immense blast. When the smoke lifts, the monster is stunned. Lu possessed such hidden might. Still, to both, survival shocks them. Lu plunges forth without pause, chugging a healing elixir as the creature starts summoning glowing green spheres in reply. But then, to Lu's horror, a hand bursts from a cleaved egg and clasps tightly onto his blade. Before he can act, more beings erupt from shattered eggs, rapidly enclosing him. Delighted, the creature chatters merrily, pleased to see allies flooding in. Lu battles the new monsters, hacking them down swiftly, but their massive ranks leave him overwhelmed as the chief observes calmly, riding his brood at the heart of chaos. Meanwhile, Luna still grapples with a clone. An explosive blow lashes her torso, slamming her hard against a stone wall. Winded. Gasping, she quietly apologizes for ending the beast's life before its own had blossomed. Taken aback, the clone erupts in laughter, seeing this as a hopeless joke. Yet he regains composure, unveiling an essential rule driving their kind's survival. He explains that upon birth, their first instinct is to destroy their parent figure, forging their strength in the act. In an instant, the double charges Luna and traps her with a nightmare spell, seizing her in terror and eliciting a scream. Lu keeps battling minions, helpless as Luna's terrified cry reaches him. The enemy horde attacks relentlessly, making Lu fend them off in great numbers. Minions pile in defeat, creating a hill of bodies, then Lu vanishes at the peak of havoc. The system declares his new level, 30. He acquires Shadow Clone, a random power summoning his copy to fight beside him. Growing impatient, the monster scales the corpse mound, startled when it discovers Lu is missing. Annoyance shifts to worry as a minion acts suspicious, slicing madly at former comrades. Fear creeps in as the monster suspects Lu is alive somewhere nearby. Lu attacks swiftly, using his shadow clone, delivering a chilling united strike. The mighty attack ravages the last minions, its strength cracks the earth, surging upward, then Lu steers the fury toward the monster, slicing it to shreds with countless powerful strikes. Meanwhile, Luna faces her weakened doppelganger who begs for mercy, vowing loyalty to her. Yet she instantly casts Crescent's spell, sending a potent blast that erases him without a trace. The incident concludes, all players appear at the main gate. Uncertainty lingers, many unsure if they'll move ahead. Mommy with Chili and Faye waits in uneasy silence. Their worry intensifies since Lu hasn't shown up yet. Unable to wait, Mommy instructs the others to find information on Lu's assailant. Hearing of the attack, Faye grows worried, so Mommy suggests Lu may have been killed looking for her. But Faye can't accept this, believing firmly in his brother's power, which calms Mommy a bit. Suddenly, Lu's voice is heard behind them. He approaches with Luna carried on his back, bringing relief to the group except for a grumpy Mommy. Mommy steps up, facing Lu, then announces her true name, Huajiao. She states confidently, "I'll be Lu's future wife," stunning the entire crowd. As conversations swirl about badge numbers, the screen flashes on, showing Walter listing the top 100 players. Lu holds third place, flanked by 2 above and 3 below from Daybreak Clan. Hua, Luna, and the others trail. People gasp as the leader earns 5,000 points, pondering the champion's identity. Soon, attention points to the Daybreak Guild's head. He is the top scorer. Ranked third among all Union guilds, the Daybreak Guild is renowned for multiple previous wins in other games. Yet their curiosity shifts to Lu's placement, wondering how he surpassed members of the Daybreak clan. At the same time, Hua keeps trying to win Lu over, but he coolly ignores her, spotting fun with the Daybreak clan. Walter rewards the top 100 players with experience, resulting in a level gain for most of them. Lu and his teammates reach beyond the 30th level as well. Walter tells everyone to use the portal for the second round, prompting them forward, all guessing what comes next. And some wonder, is that Goku and Toriyama ahead? Surprised, they are transported onto pillars with 4 random others. As they adjust, the host appears, describing the game. For this round, 5 must solve a murder mystery together. One is secretly a murderer among them in true detective style. After each phase, they'll debate suspects and evidence. Finding the killer means advancing, and story cards are given out. Lu soon figures out the game's essence is talk and logic. The host sets the scene. A chosen warrior is slain and all are suspects. Lu takes on the character of the guard captain, while the rest receive their own roles. And so, the challenge of wit and deception begins. The game opens with the first suspect sharing, continuing clockwise as the host leads the sequence. Each must say who they are and how they knew the fallen warrior X. Player claims to be X's close friend, insisting his honesty matches his striking looks. When asked for his doubts, he says there are none yet but is suspicious of the mage, player E, visually. Then it's time for player B, who says she's a minister's daughter. She reveals X once saved her and that her years stuck in bed would make murder impossible for her. She suspects Lu since people have reportedly seen him about with warrior X. It is now Lu's moment to make his statement. He says outright he held no bond with warrior X. He adds as proof, he argued with X when he learned he was a fame-seeking charmer. As captain, defying the king's will would be unthinkable, making him an unlikely killer. Lu reasons player B's strange relationship with X is suspicious. Next is player D's introduction. Player D says she's a scholar who once interviewed X and penned his life story. She defends herself. As a busy scholar and the shortest there with the murder weapon found high up, she is unlikely the culprit. When questioned about her suspicions, she is uncertain but advises cutting out the weaker lest they hinder the group. The mage then steps up, introducing himself as a high priest who led rituals for the realm and claims his innocence by stating he found warrior X's body while trying to recall him from a spell's sway. He further mentions that he performed a sacred prayer over warrior X's remains. As for his suspicions, he notes that the least doubtful among them might well be the mastermind. With these comments, the initial round of speeches concludes. 3 cast votes against player A. Though it tries to plead, the host removes him and reveals he was loyal to the team, yet the contest continues. The host provides updated backstory cards and fresh clues for each survivor, asking for thoughts on the news. Player B is first. Her clue claims the guard blindly obeys the king. Still, she claims this could be a ruse, as the guard might be betraying the king in secret. When Lu shares, his clue insists the mage never left the altar that night, but he skewers suspicion toward B again, arguing she still hasn't discussed her hidden bond with Warrior X. Player D now shares her views. Her clue says B, the minister's child, was obsessed with Warrior X and threatened to ruin him if rejected. Next comes the mage, whose clue suggests through divination that D is able and reliable. As voting closes, B is eliminated after receiving 2 votes. To everyone's surprise, B is not the murderer, so the game must go on. The third round becomes a chaotic debate, allowing open dialogue before players conclude and call a vote. Lu recommends that everyone examine the latest clues thoughtfully. Player D cuts him off, insisting they now know the murderer's identity. D claims she had no doubts B was innocent, but helped vote her out to bait the true criminal. She points the finger at Lu, arguing he let her misleading words go unchallenged. She adds that Lu's gaze seemed more interested in finding ways to evade suspicion and pick off others. Lu, undisturbed, calmly tells her to vote if she's so confident, rather than waste more time. With the argument settled, the mage keeps quiet as voting begins. After all ballots are tallied, Lu and the mage choose D, while D targets Lu. Receiving 2 votes, D is ousted and Lu, the hidden foe, emerges victorious. On seeing this, the mage bows in despair, leaving D dumbfounded by his sudden betrayal. Lu shares that from the start, he was sure D would eventually deduce who he was by ruling others out. Yet the mage used an alternate logic, suspecting the least likely person right from round 1 as declared. Player D realizes Lu intentionally lost to her, causing the mage to believe she was wrong and vote her off. As both are removed and fall from the pillar, Walter arrives, praises all, and offers a break before the last stage. Lu's group survives. Once they gather again, they are transported to an arena for the next contest. A huge crowd fills the stands, while an in-person Walter takes the host's role for the gathering. He next welcomes Tiny Kingdom's king, Jin, who has come to witness the tournament unfold. King Jin, enthusiasm clear, thanks everyone and presents the top 3 prizes to those who remain. 3 remarkable gemstones, legendary in nature, meant to be inlaid into valiant warriors' weapons. Infinitely rare, these jewels grant powerful gifts when set in weapons and command impossible prices. Hearing this, Daybreaker Guild's leader tells his team to claim all 3 jewels, fueling the crowd's exhilaration as the king marks the next round's start. Walter steps forward with the rules. Fighters duel one-on-one to knock rivals from the platform. Victory grants riches, fame, and gemstones. The champion also chooses allies for the king's rescue quest. Pairings are fate's chance. Lu draws the very first match. Amid cheers from friends, Lu remembers past arena fights and steadies himself for the clash ahead. But as the fight is about to start, Lu is startled when he recognizes the rival before him. His adversary is the old warrior he defeated back at his first ever boss event. The same man who once sought treasure and perished when confronted. The warrior has since grown, strength built from learning after defeat by Lu's former skeletal form. Yet he doesn't realize his challenger is that very boss, only now wearing a human guise. Being a loner, the warrior aims to prove himself stronger, always seeking to triumph against fate. Broken but determined, he urges Lu to attack, resolved not to retreat. Yet before his sentence ends, Lu's swift blade silences him in a heartbeat, dismissing him efficiently. As he dissolves, sorrow overwhelms the warrior, for he wished to reveal true power, yet fell instantly. Walter immediately declares Lu the winner, while Daybreaker Guild members recognize Lu from their last attempt on his life. Then it's Luna's turn. She bests her rival nimbly, her swordplay flawless, and secures a decisive win. Faye triumphs over his rival and secures his place alongside the top 16 contenders. With one mighty blow, Mommy sends her foe flying, and the Daybreak Guild instantly recognizes her moves. Chili's upcoming match pits her against Diane, a member of Daybreak. Both walk onto the stage with pride, encouraged by their friends, while the spectators eagerly await a pro battle. Chili radiates assurance, but Diane jokingly teases her, comparing her chest to a landing strip. The remark infuriates Chili, who attacks, but Diane skillfully avoids her with agile sidesteps. Their clash intensifies over time. Diane dodges many blows, but gradually she starts getting hit. Aware the fight's getting tough, Diane invokes her flame spirit to summon a fire hound and sets it on Chili. Chili leaps to escape, but is startled when the hound appears ahead and attacks her suddenly. Faye anxiously watches while Mommy stands calm, confident the beast's attacks overpower Chili's strength. Seeing Chili hurt, Diane tells her to forfeit, but Chili ignores her, charging again. When near, Chili spins into a flaming cyclone. Diane tries to slip away, but Chili vanishes, reappears behind her, and defeats her instantly with her cyclone. Thinking she's successful, Chili overlooks that Diane still remains on the battlefield. Diane quickly summons 5 beasts and unleashes them on Chili, sending her flying back. Shocked, the host announces Diane's win as Chili can't get up, and praises Daybreak Guild before starting the next round. When the fight ends, Chili's teammates help her rise and comfort her, saying she did well against tough odds. Still, Chili feels crushed by defeat and weeps. Wiping her eyes, she vows to come back stronger and silence her doubters. This match shows L's group just how fierce the Daybreak Guild truly is, warning them of future confrontation. The host calls the next fight. Fun from Daybreak arrives and dispatches his rival in an instant, proving his fame. Another archer of the guild shines. Using splitting arrows, he breaks through defenses and overwhelms his opponent. Next up, Lei storms his foe with rapid strikes, defeating him without unsheathing his weapon. At last, Daybreak's leader enters the ring, pointing out his opponent's flaws. He criticizes his grip and form. Baffled crowds await a duel, but the nervous foe becomes unsure as the leader refines his skills, surrendering soon after. Inspired by these events, more contestants withdraw. Now, Luna battles Diane from Daybreak as the arena fills with passionate chants. Without hesitation, Diane comments on Luna's figure, insisting it's more impressive than Chili's. Luna quickly snaps back, prompting Diane to call forth her beasts and attack. Luna flashes Starlight Slash, blinding Diane and moving to strike from the flank, barely missing and slicing off Diane's blindfold. Luna did this on purpose, longing to confront Diane head-on to meet her gaze as they clashed. Witnessing this, Chili and her friends erupt in cheers, while Daybreak members look at Luna with new admiration. Diane's lips curl into a wild grin as her summons appear, boasting about the extreme difference in their skills. With the beasts approaching, Luna leaps skyward to avoid them, yet they're cunning and surround her on all sides. Before Luna can act, Diane pins her against a rock, leaving her exposed and in danger. Luna's teammates gape, awestruck that Diane, commanding her 5 elemental creatures, is proving so dominant. While Diane believes victory is hers, Lu realizes Luna remains ready, shielded inside the stone. Suddenly, Luna emerges, shattering the rock as her greatsword sweeps toward Diane with fierce strength. Even with the might of Luna's assault, Diane stands her ground and repels the blow using her shield. Consumed by anger and bitterness, Diane launches a swift and forceful counterattack. Diane's deep pain took root in youth, always hearing her parents' arguments and absorbing their blame. Other girls tormented her relentlessly, teasing and disgracing her because of her parents' separation. Years of suffering eventually forged a fierce hatred, leading Diane to harshly retaliate against her tormentors. Yearning to escape, she embraced gaming, where her peer who praised her gameplay, yet who harbored unacceptable intentions and pressured her to be with him, leaving Diane uneasy. Diane immediately resisted, and when who tried something worse, the Daybreak clan rescued her, banning him from the cafe. Grateful, Daybreak's leader invited Diane to join, expressing awe at her talent and welcoming her into their ranks. Now Diane battles fiercely for Daybreak, the group that once saved her, fighting with fiery purpose. With fiery determination, she calls forth her 5-element attack, fusing it with her ultimate move against Luna. The immense power of her strike seems to expel Luna completely, leaving every spectator in pure disbelief. Still, Lu suspects Luna has more in store and has not been defeated yet. Amazingly, Luna is still in the match, balancing nimbly atop her sword right at the battlefield's edge. As Luna springs back into battle, Diane falters, thinking Luna had simply leapt up from the ground. Yet the audience senses the truth. It is now Luna's chance to strike. Her slash wave is blocked by Diane's force. Just then, a handful of shining stars blaze above, temporarily dazzling Diane's eyes. Confused by the brightness, stars rain down, driving off all of Diane's summons. With no other choice, Diane withdraws to her shield, staying ready for what comes next. Seeing her chance, Luna distracts Diane with a slash, then leaps behind her in a blur. Unprepared, Diane is struck from behind. Luna claims victory with one fierce blow. Though victorious, Luna offers a hand and lifts Diane up, solidifying her place among the finalists. The upcoming round will turn 8 competitors into 4 as the challenges grow fiercer between top contenders. Fighters catch their breath as the arena undergoes swift repairs. Returning to her allies, Luna earns praise for her skills, but beneath her smile she senses her foe's pressure was immense. Her instincts don't mislead. Diane stands before her team, plagued by doubt about whether she belongs among them. Yet the leader comforts her, explaining she has talent but needs experience as she's still new in the guild. This battle reminds the guild to never dismiss their competition. With everything restored, the tournament resumes its next phase. The stage is set for Lu to challenge Daybreak's Fun in the first face-off. Energized, Fun announces, "I'll take this duel with Lu as far as possible." At the signal, they clash fiercely, their collision shattering the ground anew. The fighters exchange ceaseless strikes, expertly dodging and blocking with equal resolve. Fun strains, but his excitement builds, recognizing Lu's enhanced prowess. Speed blurs as they charge again, igniting an electrifying spirit in their audience. Members of Daybreak Guild marvel at Lu, while Lu's allies grow anxious at Fun's growing might. As things heat up, Fun tears off his shoulder armor, claiming that was only his prelude. Lu responds by shedding his cape, and so the clash resumes with renewed vigor. Lu attacks, but Fun catches the sword, turns, and launches it away with bare hands. With swords gone, they meet each other blow for blow, fists connecting in rapid exchange. Fun rain strikes onto Lu, but Lu fends off every blow with unwavering defense. Before long, Fun slips through Lu's guard and takes him down. Lu rises quickly and delivers a fierce knee to Fun's face, catching him off guard. The fight turns grueling, with each landing savage strikes, turning the arena crimson. The struggle intensifies, growing more brutal with every heartbeat. Lu tires visibly, and Fun seizes this, delivering a fierce blow that sends Lu sprawling. Yet instead of rejoicing, Fun freezes in dread, senses danger, and sprints away. Lu uses the blow's momentum to leap for his weapon. After grabbing it, Lu strikes at Fun in a swift, cutting motion. Cheers erupt from Lu's allies, but the Daybreak clan chief remains stoic and calm. He recognizes that Fun is a cunning and vicious opponent, and trusts his insight. Even wounded, Fun stands more powerful, energy surging through him as his health wanes due to his latent skill. Now strengthened, Fun calls forth his sword and charges Lu, striking with lethal strength. Fun blasts Lu away with brute force, then leaps skyward, raining another blow onto Lu's shoulder. Persistently, Fun batters Lu's sword, their power shaking the stadium. When the dust clears, Fun anticipates triumph, but Lu again stands and resumes battle. Seizing his chance, Lu makes a sudden leap behind Fun, attempting a stealth attack. But Fun reacts instantly this time, parrying and hurling Lu aside effortlessly. Suspended midair, both fighters hold everyone's gaze. Tension grips every onlooker. After a heartbeat, they both slam down onto the earth. Fun, now vibrant with raw energy, is set on winning and unleashing all his strength. Fun points his blade at Lu, unleashing his decisive combat intent upon his foe. With this move, Lu cannot evade and becomes susceptible to all of Fun's assaults. Fun readies his wolf strike to overpower Lu, yet Lu conjures another weapon, his dragon blade from the bishop, to resist, wielding both for battle. They clash in a surge of force, Lu's dragon blade deflecting Fun's power. The thrill of battle fills both with determination, urging them onward beyond exhaustion. A blinding beam erupts skyward as they collide, swirling immense smoke to shroud their struggle. Dust fills the arena, blinding both fighters and hiding the outcome for a brief spell. When the dust clears, 2 cliffs become visible in the arena. Fun lies on one, Lu stands triumphant on the other. The host announces Lu's win, moving him forward. The Daybreak Guild is amazed as their skilled Fun falls in a head-on fight, though he dealt more damage at the end. Still, the guild leader sees that Fun's hunger for power and a passive spell drained his health, leading to defeat. The leader also notes Lu hasn't revealed all his skills, making him a fascinating future rival. While this unfolds, Lu approaches and helps Feng get back on his feet in the arena. Feng admires Lu's last move, Hidden Dragon in the Abyss, and accepts the battle's result with a smile. Lu, in return, commends Feng's abilities, honest about the fight's challenge. Feng offers Lu a guild spot, but Lu turns it down, saying he has more pressing issues. Feng then invites Lu to a barbecue and Lu accepts. With that, the host declares a pause. The arena needs fixing yet again. He faces the king to ask how much to reinforce things. The king demands full strength and urges haste. Although the king seems strong outwardly, he's connected to cords and very sick with little time left. Soon the repairs end and matches resume. The next duel is Fei versus Daybreak's leader, Shu. When he sees Shu, Fei's mouth falls open, realizing he faces the strongest opponent. Fei quickly weighs his odds, knowing a win against Shu would hurt his rival and make Fei famous. Shu skips the banter and asks Fei if he knows the mage's best tactic, to keep their distance. But Shu suddenly charges. Fei blocks, but Shu tries to teach him swordplay, suggesting the left hand is better. When Fei summons blasts, Shu breaks his rhythm each time. Irritated, Fei steps away to channel fireballs. Yet Shu insists this strategy's right. Still, as Fei acts, Shu's beams stop it again. Watching Fei crumble in disbelief on the ground, Shu approaches and asks for his surrender, noticing Fei's spirit flicker out. Both the host and Mommy acknowledge the overwhelming difference between Fei and Shu. Mommy knows Shu's true name, Yang Guang, a pro gamer of 15 years and 30 titles, now retired as a coach. Yet for this event, he's come to play himself. Fei, ashamed as chilly cheers, is prompted by Lu pointing at his ear, suddenly remembering something. He recalls the cafe moment facing the game's final boss, and Han's advice to listen and adapt got through to him. Hearing this, Fei wonders if being a liability is why Han said to play by ear. But Han assures Fei that his talent is being flexible, hence, trust himself, adjust when needed and follow his instinct. Returning to the present, Fei stands, memory fueling his determination to keep fighting. Fed up with Shu's goading, Fei asks C to turn on some music for him. Fei charges, flames flickering, moving to the rhythm. Shu is quickly thrown off by his approach. When close, Shu strikes, but Fei slips under and delivers a playful attack below Shu's waist. Yet Shu effortlessly flips away, evading the attempted blow. Opting for direct battle, Fei hurls fireballs at the approaching Shu, who continues to berate him with criticism. Shu advances, Fei summons a flaming whirlwind, and in the fiery storm they exchange fists. Shu observes that, even as a spellcaster, Fei has honed his physical combat skills impressively. But as Fei is truly a mage, Shu swings his large sword and sends him flying. Still midair, Fei casts thousands of fireballs down from above, battering Shu all at once. The massive blast radiates so much heat and brightness that it leaves viewers momentarily disoriented. Once the haze clears, Shu steps out unscathed, gripping his giant shield and grinning smugly. This leaves Chili puzzled, wondering how Shu withstood such a powerful hit unharmed. Lu explains that Shu skillfully reduces the effects, easily overcoming the attack. Back in the match, Fei starts to tire as he burns his strength, keeping Shu at a distance. Noticing Fei's heavy breathing, Shu pushes forward to make use of the opportunity. When Shu swings his heavy blade, Fei boldly catches it barehanded mid-strike. This bold act reveals Fei has triggered his most powerful fire technique, draining all his mana for strength. Shu is stunned by Fei's incredible magic, but Fei instantly presses the attack. He lands a fierce kick, sending Shu flying high into the air. As Shu reels, Fei appears in a streak and smashes him to the earth with another blow. Without mercy, Fei unleashes twisting tornadoes of flame, astounding onlookers, then gathers all he has left for a huge fireball and hurls it fiercely at Shu. Realizing he can't withstand it, Shu knows receiving the attack means certain defeat. Acting fast, he uses his shield technique to repel one powerful attack. The massive fireball deflects back and Fei, out of strength, can no longer dodge. The blow strikes him head-on, toppling him forcefully to the earth. Shu, victorious, commends Fei's magical skills, dubbing him gifted. Just then, a strong breeze sweeps by, captivating all eyes on his prominently shaped cheeks. The crowd becomes briefly entranced, astonished by the remarkable sharpness of his toned physique. Meanwhile, as Fei lies on the ground in defeat, he holds no regret about his performance. Instead, he remains attentive, aware he has obtained key knowledge of Shu vital for his brother's future fight. Shu, still with his trousers down, compliments Fei's efforts, much to the embarrassment of all present. For the next match, Mommy walks on stage with pride. Unexpectedly, her rival, the Daybreak Archer, already recognizes her. He declares himself a longtime admirer, stating he has observed her journey intently. He knows her achievements, her victory in a major contest, and even her former guild. Despite her renowned history, the Archer seems let down that her career ended so soon. Listening to all this, Mommy ponders whether he is infatuated with her. Still, with Lu watching, she stays alert. As she absorbs his words, Chili quickly cautions her about his hands moving covertly mid-speech. In an instant, a giant tree bursts forth behind him, its limbs surging upward and shaking the arena. The demonic tree invocation calls forth a huge wicked trunk, its menacing vines whipping at foes. As the gigantic tree rises, the Archer climbs swiftly to its peak, ready to attack from above. Yet so easily. She storms the tree, slicing through hefty roots as the Archer answers with his rain of arrows skill. While arrows shower down, she summons a shield around herself, deflecting the strike. Almost instantly, the Archer fires a nearly unseen shaft that barely snips a lock of her hair. Mommy is undaunted. She determinedly advances, shielding herself from countless arrows as she draws near. She notices the Archer exploits the tree's height, combining it with sly tactics to exhaust her. If she doesn't disrupt this play soon, she'll be in real trouble. She quickly decides to chop off a massive chunk of the cursed tree and fling it directly at the Archer. Using the flying trunk as a springboard, Mommy launches herself closer to her rival. He counters by firing his Mandela arrow. She blocks this, but as she strikes, his blank arrow sends her crashing. The Archer grins, convinced of his upper hand. Author's words, an archer well-positioned always guards surprises. When Mommy tries to shoot back with words, an unexpected weakness washes over her. Her limbs grow heavy, movements slow. A cold awareness dawns, poison seeps through her veins. Seeing her stagger, the Archer nonchalantly reveals that poison flows from my mandala arrow, a technique meant to drain you completely. With a jeering smile, he mocks, asking how she will fight on, weakened, while he endlessly regains mana. Mommy clutches her injury, acutely aware her time is running short before the venom brings her down. In these fleeting moments, she must get close to the Archer, evading his fierce attacks, including his lethal knockback. As she gathers her thoughts, he releases yet another rain of arrows toward her. Dodging swiftly, she pushes ahead, narrowing the space between them. Summoning Mountain Quake Stomp, she leaps high, gaining speed as she launches herself. Her leg winds up for a smashing kick, aiming straight at the marksman. But he meets her assault with a knockback arrow, sending her flying back through the air. But in the air, she refuses to surrender. She sends a clap strike his way, throwing him off balance. As he wobbles atop a branch, she seizes her chance, rushing him with all her might. The desperate Archer fires more arrows in his panic. Unbothered, Mommy tears off rough bark from a tree, raising it like a barrier to deflect the arrows. Just as triumph seems hers, another mandala arrow finds its target. Numbness overwhelms her. She tumbles from the sky, unable to stop herself from falling. The Daybreak Guild looks on, impressed, admiring the Archer's clever and sly tactics crafted to match each foe. Even as Mommy plunges from the branches, the contest rages on, stoking Archer's growing suspicions. To his shock, she bursts up from the ruins and sprints toward him with only moments to spare before the poison wins. When Archer looses a foe arrow, she slips past by sliding across the ground, then fires off her ultimate, an unstoppable storm of strikes. Fueled by pure anger, she keeps pressing, pummeling him again and again. With a heart's beat before the toxin claims her, she punches Archer's stomach hard, sending him crashing down as she too collapses as time expires. Simultaneously, Archer and Mommy fall, each unable to continue their duel. Thus, the announcer consults the king to settle the match's final result. Daybreak Guild's members share their amazement that Mommy could drop Archer's health by 70% so swiftly, a remarkable act. Their leader suggests she likely crossed into the zone, a rare state sometimes found in athletes. Here, all around slows to a crawl and becomes predictable, making impossible feats suddenly potential. On hearing this, Fun's excitement rises. he longs to experience such a state for himself. After a while, the host announces that both contestants are eliminated as they were defeated at the same time, and the match moves forward. Mommy feels let down by herself, but her teammates gather around, offering her comfort and support. Lu pays her a compliment, quickly restoring her mood, since in her heart she sees him as her spouse. Now the last battle of this round begins. Luna faces off against Daybreak Lei. As Luna heads toward the platform, her father calls and tells her that test results show she's more compatible than the others, urging her to join him at the company. Delighted and eager, Luna wants to go with her father but asks to finish her match first. Yet her father declines her request, saying a security guard will soon escort her away. As he finishes talking, chaos breaks out in the aquarium. Bigger sharks start ruthlessly preying on the smaller. Returning to the game, Luna tells her teammates she must leave. They calmly assure her everything will be fine since Lu's still playing. With this, she exits the game, resulting in Daybreak Lu advancing to the next round without any opposition. As only 3 players are left for the finals, the host, following majority vote, pairs Daybreak Lu against their captain Shu in the semifinals. This makes Lu's team happy since it secures his spot directly in the final match. Meanwhile, Daybreak's team debates if Lei should forfeit. Lei insists on fighting Lu while Shu withdraws to prevent a match between teammates. The host calls this a wise choice and officially declares the final will be between Lu and Daybreak's Lei. With their names announced, Lu's friends burst into applause for him. Officially, just as Lu declares is the about-to-step final will be between Lu and Onstage, Fun stops him and shares key insights on Lei, hoping to create a fair duel. Fun explains from earlier observation there's little chance Lu can win. On that note, both fighters enter the ring and the final round is set in motion. At the sound of the signal, they rush at each other with stealth abilities, making themselves unseen. In complete invisibility, each emerges suddenly, meeting attacks with well-timed defenses. Their duel becomes a blur, movements too quick for the untrained eye to follow. Their furious speed fills the arena with the vision of many fighters locked in a grand struggle. Spotting an opening, Lu swings at Lei, yet she effortlessly slips away and counters with sharp kicks, forcing him back. Unwilling to retreat, both land blows at the same moment, producing a shockwave that throws them apart. From the stands, Lu's friends notice the two seem evenly matched in strength. Catching their breath, they charge again, displaying bursts of control and skill with their attacks. Lu surges in, only for Lei to slip aside and strike back quickly, catching him at a disadvantage. With his back to her, she launches a fierce kick, but Lu responds just before impact. He vanishes behind her in a flash, using his backstab skill. As he prepares to attack, she deftly shifts to backstab him, scoring a precise blow. She attacks with a soaring crossarm, putting Lu on the defense as he scrambles for his weapon. Though disadvantaged, he manages to grasp it and forces her away. During the fight, Lu starts to see that she is testing his capabilities. He remembers Fun mentioning Lei's great strength and her fame as a former mercenary leader, skilled with many firearms. Her precision is outstanding, and her knife skills verge on perfect. On a mission to save children with bombs trapped to them, her teammates, bribed by the enemy, betrayed her. Even wounded, she overcame them all but only managed with a few bullets to spare. Afterward, she hurled her blade at the boss who held the detonator. Before dying, the boss managed to activate it, causing the bombs to explode and killing everyone. This ordeal drove Lei to give up mercenary life and return home, where Shu soon discovered her and led her to esports. Now she stands not just as a top sharpshooter but as the highest-ranked assassin. These memories served only to intensify Lu's enthusiasm. With energy gathered, both fighters rushed at each other again, primed for a furious contest. As they met, Lu became annoyed by Lei fighting with her unsheathed blade. Driven by irritation, he launches a strike but she slips away with ease. Undeterred, Lu lashes out with another swing, pushing Lei back. While she parries, she notices his double blades move with blinding speed, forcing her to think again. Leaping clear, Lei uses her Thunder Clone, calling forth 5 duplicates to flank and press Lu from every angle. He does his best to defend, yet some attacks make it through. Desperate, he tries to strike back, but soon realizes he's targeting an illusion. The true Lei is waiting behind him. Acting rapidly, Lu unleashes his own backstab and clone, catching Lei twice at once. Lei slips away with a quick sidestep, while her team marvels at the endless tricks Lu possesses. Yet Fun grasps the true situation. Though Lu tries his best, he stands little hope against Lei's wrath. Amid battle, Lei draws her blade finally, releasing a surge of wild energy. She says its strength is far too great and that's why she hadn't used it before now. She strikes without blinking, aiming a huge slash at Lu and hitting him with astonishment power. Lu barely recovers when his clone lunges at Lei, but she explains that her Thunder Sword attack can't be stopped until it hits its goal. Elsewhere, Lu, overwhelmed by incredible skill, feels rooted to the spot. He frantically uses his Dragon Abyss spell, managing to meet Lei's strike just in time. Gigantic lightning crashes down on her, rattling the entire arena with terrifying intensity. All spectators are swept up by the thunderous energy and destruction. Even Daybreak's team is overcome with shock as they watch the unforeseen clash. As silence follows, Lu urges his clone to be aware. But in a flash, Lei emerges from a portal, piercing the clone. Her divine escape ability lets her enter a portal whenever she suffers critical damage. Still, Lei is shocked upon discovering she wounded only Lu's duplicate. Lu himself stands beside her, unharmed. Both salute each other's skill, but Lei forcefully claims that resistance is pointless. She immediately creates illusions again, calling down heavy bolts of lightning throughout the arena. The volleys are so intense they spare not even the birds in flight. These bolts unite above before falling violently to earth. Lu barely evades the blast, his fear mounting when he realizes she can use her power constantly. Fei also sighs at the injustice, since his signature skill requires rest yet hers does not. Through it all, fun keeps sharp, understanding Lu's fate is now in Lei's grasp. Wielding the legendary Thunderblade, she can unleash spells of staggering potency. Lu is in disbelief seeing such a rare blade in her hands, as it is not known to drop from any boss. Lele admits she acquired it during closed beta, stunning Lu further. Grasping this, he wonders about his brother Han, curious if Lei knows anything. She tells him she does, but promises to speak only if Lu can win against her. Thinking he should be more powerful as Han's sibling, she warns that if he loses, she will stay silent. Lao accepts the challenge and rushes ahead, brimming with unwavering resolve. Closing in, he springs up and ignites his rending burst blade in midair. Lei responds by casting Thunder Explosion, sending out a giant shockwave. Lu bears the shock and keeps battling her duplicates, fighting off assaults from every direction. Though he suffers multiple blows, he succeeds in vanquishing every last clone. Yet the fierce struggle has left him battered and dangerously wounded. Seeing his frail condition, Lei comments, "You won't last long enough to learn anything about your brother." Her remark lights a new determination in Lu, prompting another assault. Lei instantly sees through his tactics. As a decoy dashes straight at her, she presumes the real Lu approaches from the flank. With swift precision, she targets the attacker but is unexpectedly tricked. Lu employs his position swap ability, changing places with his double, both enclosed by his powerful spellblade. Lei recognizes his intent to take them both down, but she's left motionless by the sight before her. Standing before her, enveloped in fearsome power, Lu has transformed into his Ashura form. The overwhelming force of Lu's form begins to fracture Lei's mask. This stirs a recollection from 2 years prior, when only she and Shu endured a savage game battle. Despite everything, the fabled boss they confronted remained unbeaten. Their group, the first guild to face this boss in closed beta, knew rare weapons and priceless loot awaited them. Injured and weary, Shu handed Lei a code container, including the power to solely bind equipment to her. Before more could be done, the boss suddenly struck, firing a fierce beam their way. Shu, at his limit, lifted his shield against the attack, but could only slow the outcome. Soon after, he fell, meeting his end in that world. Taking advantage of his brief protection, Lei started her Thunder Clone and used her sword mastery. In a painfully fierce fight, she mustered one last crushing blow, destroying the boss for good. As Lei slays the boss, announcing, a knight surfaces from within, glowing with thunderous energy. He introduces himself as Helmod Thunder, pronouncing, "Only you have seen my true being." He lifts skyward, demanding she fear him, and hurls a horrifying strike, erasing all around them. Helmod then glares at Lei, poised to unleash all his vast inner force, making her feel completely helpless. Just as the attack is set to hit, A new voice interrupts, scolding the knight for picking on Lei. Annoyed, Helmod turns sharply to face the stranger and launches an attack. But before he can land a blow, Han, blazing in Ashura form, fires a beam that erases half the knight's body. The knight falters, thinking he recognizes the technique, and asks if Han is Lady Wu. Han laughs it off, then descends and instantly destroys the knight before he can strike back. As he vanishes, the knight drops the thunder sword, its edge alive with electric energy. Lei quickly leaps forward and claims it as Han gently says it's hers now, then introduces himself. Lei is touched by Han's generosity, stunned that he offers her this famed sword though she originally stole it. As she leaves, she promises to repay his kindness in the future. Returning to the present, the audience anxiously gazes at Lu's crimson energy sphere, aglow in the air. When the sphere vanishes, the crowd collectively gasps. Lu's sword is at Lei's throat and her blade is discarded. Sensing victory, Lu demands with resolve that Lei tell him about his lost brother. Hearing the question, Lei suddenly sees Han's ghostly figure by Lu's side. Her mind wanders back to her time with Han after he conquered Helmod Thunder. From the beginning, Han supported her despite being strangers, yet Lei insisted she repay the Thunder Sword's value. She proposes traveling by his side as a partner until she fulfills the debt for the magical blade. Together, they braved many creatures and triumphed over every peril they encountered. Amid these fights, Lei saw firsthand Han's great power and his fierce Ashura abilities. One day in battle, Lei's mask slipped from her face. Han retrieved the mask and returned it to her, kindly admiring how she looked. Even as Lei felt uneasy about her scar, Han's encouraging words drew them closer in spirit. Snapping into the present, Lei fixes her mask and says she fought in the same group as Lu's brother during the beta. Eager for more answers, Lu asks her when she last met his brother. She recalls a peaceful evening, she and Han warming themselves at a gentle fire. Yet Han appeared troubled. He admitted a strange doorway had opened in the game that should have remained sealed. Han explained his need to enter that place to close it, as only he was capable of doing so. Lei wanted to join, but Han said no, urging her to stay. He promised they'd go on a real-world date upon his return and looked forward to presenting her to his real-life brothers. But after that night, Lei never heard from Han again. As Lei finishes her 2-hour and 27-minute story, Lu realizes the door Han spoke of might be the infernal purgatory that Lady Wu described. Lei explains that Han cautioned her, if the door stays open, its effects will spill everywhere unchecked. Their talk is cut short as the host, thrilled, declares Lu the contest's champion. Cheers erupt throughout the crowd. The king soon advances to greet the throng, announcing a lavish ceremony and calls Lu up to the stage. In the midst of his speech, the king begins to bleed from his nose and mouth. Trying to finish, he insists time runs short and urges haste with the awarding. Lu and his friends follow the assistant to the palace. Outside, he apologizes he lacks clearance to enter, so he entrusts them to 2 stewards. The stewards shepherd Lu and the others inside, escorting them through the opulent palace halls. On the way, they disclose that victors may pick any single treasure from the king's hidden, underground collection. Descending below, everyone marvels at just how deep and extensive the treasury is. Faye observes aloud, thinking royalty must enjoy boasting with such an immense palace and vast trove below. But as he looks around, his gaze sparkles at piles of dazzling gold and priceless valuables. Eagerly, Chili and Faye rush for the loot, but the stewards clarify, only 1 object per person is permitted. Mommy claims to want nothing, offering her turn to Lu, but Lu insists she should choose for herself, knowing she's lacking. Afterward, Lu alone is led to the deepest chambers to confer with the king. 2 seats have been set out. The king gestures for Lu to sit. Lu is uneasy, taken aback by the king's weak condition, but the ruler promptly asks why Lu thinks he was summoned. Yet Lu dismisses this, questioning instead why the king organized a contest instead of simply rescuing his daughter. The king notes his cleverness, admitting Lu is sharper than he'd thought. Without warning, metal restraints snap from the chair, trapping Lu where he sits. Now motionless, Lu can only listen to the king's startling confession. Everything had been false. The contest simply a ruse to find a suitable host for himself. The king sheds his robe, showing a shadow of a man, then his form swells. He intends to take Lu's vigor and reclaim his youth. Lu struggles in vain. The king jeers, admitting the chair's bonds cannot be broken. Grinning darkly, the king stands over Lu as a glowing mark lights up on his chest, drawing vitality from Lu. Unaware, Lu's friends continue through the vault. Fa has astonishingly found the Infinity Gauntlet. Calmly, Mommy observes as the stewards seal the towering treasury door shut. Upon confronting them, the stewards channel energy. They reveal their ploy to imprison and doom the group inside. Calling on their magic and treasures, the stewards become immense guardians in gleaming armor. Shock holds the party, but Mommy urges them to stay focused and fight bravely. Charging a knight, they face a sky-rending blast that knocks them all harshly to the floor. The knights jeer, taunting that the group is far too feeble to challenge them. Battered, Mommy fears the knight's superior strength and grows anxious over Lu's danger. Elsewhere, Lu's life essence is being drained. The king insists, unlike selfish rulers, I seek immortality for the people's good and divine will. To him, the world is chaos, plagued by monsters that endanger all, even making rivers perilous. Humans end up betraying each other, and the heavens, weary of the pain, appoint the king as their hope. He confides that he himself was once shackled under a tyrant's cruelty. One day, driven to outrage by his master's abuse, he crushed him with a stone, earning the slave's gratitude. He led the freed slaves, and together they fought the master's soldiers, conquering after fierce combat. Victory let him form a knightly order, vanquish foul beasts, restore the land, and assemble a flourishing realm. He took a wife as well, determined to ensure a lasting succession. Yet near the height of glory, he was struck down by an unexplained and deadly illness. He was told time was short. Selfishly, he yearned against death, imploring the gods after so many good deeds. Desperate for life, the heavens grant him dark liberties, allowing him to feed on the energy of others. He enacts a cruel magic, first upon his wife and then even his daughter, insisting it's for the kingdom's light. Now in the present, draining Lu's spirit, he announces that Lu is the key to his ambitions. Suddenly, Lu's form erupts in a scarlet spray, yet a voice rings out from the sky. Astonished, the king discovers that Lu was simply an illusion, a mere double. The real Lu appears and denounces the king's cruelty. The king, livid, calls his stewards, and Lu fears for his companion's fates. The stewards, laughing cruelly, announce that Lu's friends have already fallen. The terrible news flares Lu's anger into a roaring rage. Raging, Lu storms forward as the king destroys his stewards to conjure a sword and staff, which now pulse with his power. Meanwhile, the rest of Lu's team is expelled from the game. Chili laments their lost loot, and Mommy suspects it's a secret task. With 30 minutes remaining for revival, the group chooses to visit a cafe and wait out the delay. At Lu's place, Faye passes the time until revival. Upset, he was powerless to aid his brother. When the countdown ends, Faye returns to the game. Amid fierce combat with the king, Lu charges boldly, his gaze ablaze with fierce determination. Though the king defends, Lu cunningly strikes with a backstab, landing a hit on the king's back. Lu's strike barely scratches the king, who shrugs it off and fires a mighty spell in answer. But the spell misses Lu by design, as the king dodges, harming his intended vessel. The king mocks Lu, ordering his surrender and boasting of battling armies on land and sea, belittling Lu's opponents as feeble. Lu senses he's weaker than the king, yet his grit keeps him determined to continue. He casts a stealth spell, melting into the darkness, rising up to plot, and drinks a potion. He knows now is the time for a guerrilla strategy. Yet the king recognizes Lu's clever approach right away. Declaring himself a tiger, the king casts gravity magic, unleashing a heavy force that pulls Lu downward. Lu narrowly lands, then creates shadow doubles and attacks the king in an unyielding sequence. The king easily repels each strike, but when he strikes back, Lu notices a brief gap he can use. Despite Lu's tricks, the king grabs Lu's blade barehanded, aided by steward spirits wielding weapons. Afterward, the king repeats the gravity spell, plunging Lu into swirling waters. Lu sees trouble ahead and chooses this critical moment to show his ultimate move. While the king is busy with weapons, a flash of bright light grazes his cheek, and Lu emerges, transformed in aqua form. Lu has activated the phantom god's earring, changing his race for different strengths. Now he shifts into a fisherman and grows stronger near the water. Furious at Lu's transformation, the king's weapons launch attacks, but Lu vanishes into the water. Swiftly, Lu darts out from the king's flank, aiming to catch him off guard from the back. Yet the king's sword feels his presence, and with a swing knocks Lu through the air. Falling, Lu transforms again, this time into a pigman, stronger but less clever. This new form charges fiercely at the king, slashing at his left arm with might. The king's enchanted weapons fiercely counter, slicing Lu's arm as they return blow for blow. Both heal swiftly from their injuries, and the king, amazed, commends Lu on his extraordinary prowess. The king's excitement grows, delighted that his chosen vessel holds such exceptional strength and deep secrets. Lu soon realizes his regular tactics fail him and calls upon his last resort, the hidden dragon abyss, as nothing else proves effective. Trusting this power, Lu concentrates vast energy into the technique, surging toward the king, catching him unprepared. Consumed by fury, Lu levels his blow at the king, who meets the oncoming force and effortlessly shatters it. To the ruler's surprise, the opponent's strike comes from a duplicate Lu conjured with the arcane art. Meanwhile, the true Lu stands behind, focusing the hidden dragon abyss at its peak and strikes the king squarely, hurtling him into the stone palace wall. Summoning a magic shield, the king curbs the blow and swiftly regains his footing. Intent on ending this duel, fatigue in his veins, Lu readies himself for the storm that follows. Bursting with energy, the king musters his gravity mastery, conjuring a vast aqueous sphere to imprison Lu. Changing forms to his fisherman self for agility, Lu gets pinned by deadly rocks cast at him within the swirling globe. With a wicked smile, the king tempts Lu with the offer to submit to his revered cleansing ritual. Lu is left stunned as the king makes known his awareness of Lu's status as merely another player in this game. The king proclaims that destiny itself has exposed all, letting him see their world is built just for the joy of players like Lu. Initially, the king assumed these words to be symbolic. Yet as his mind sharpened, truth dawned. His life is caged by rules spinning in endless monotony. Seeing himself as a mere chess piece led by others, the king refuses to embrace this dictated destiny. He brands Lu and his kind as foreign invaders, pledging his life's purpose is to banish them from his world. Rattled, Lu cannot grasp how this virtual king reasons so deeply and ponders what he means by heaven. Approaching Lu, the king confides his dark curiosity. I yearn to learn the soul's fate if I triumph over you. Cornered by peril, Lu urgently inquires if the king is aware of Han. The king vaguely knows the name but quickly ignores it, resolute in his focus on destroying Lu. Instantly, Lu shifts races, becoming a pig, hoping to slip away from danger. As the king begins leeching energy, he erupts with rage on learning it is also a double, while Lu waits nearby for his disguise spell to reset. Lu climbs using his lizard body, trying to flee, but the king, unyielding, swears to shatter Lu's limbs now, confident he can heal him later. With a wicked smirk, the king conjures waves and casts a spell, sealing Lu's escape path with solid ice. Yet the king's assault continues unabated. From the frozen barrier, needle-like shards of ice suddenly cascade, slicing through the air. Lu's reptilian form succumbs to the frost, stiffening in the cruel chill until he can no longer move. A giant shard crashes into him, knocking him down as it splinters into sharp fragments that nail Lu to a block of ice. With escape impossible, the king takes Lu by the throat, ready to steal his vitality. Just then, Faye and Chili erupt into the scene with fire and sparks as Mommy surges forward, landing a forceful kick on the king, rescuing Lu just in time. Clutching his weapons, the king regains balance and the enchanted arms gasp to spot Lu's team alive, believing they had perished before. The king remains composed, stating coldly, "That's the way with the player race, dying isn't the end. But if I erase a player entirely and claim their forms, I'll possess all of them." Alarmed, Lu shouts, "Beware the light on the king's chest, that's his life-draining tool." As they rush to Lu's aid, the king commands his weapons, "Remove them now." The magical staff charges Faye and Chili, who answer with blazing blasts of flame. Effortlessly, the staff woman shields herself with a magical field that warps gravity. Unable to pierce the shield, Faye and Chili combine their skills, summoning a twin tornado of flames that burns the shield away and singes the foe. Infernal heat dissolves the icy layer as elsewhere Mommy faces the blade head-on, unleashing a rapid flurry of punches with overwhelming force. When her smaller rival tries to hit back, she launches him with full strength. The king, catching the airborne blade instantaneously, bristles with fury and sends a roaring storm of energy hurtling forward. The titanic attack barrels toward Lu's companions, making them brace expectantly for chaos. Suddenly, members of the Daybreak Guild charge in as their leader, Shu, raises a shield, repelling the king's assault and turning the onslaught back around, gravely wounding him. Caught off guard, Lu learns from Faye, "We summon the guild for help." Daybreak's leader offers a thumbs up, "Join us and split the spoils 50-50. The offer is swiftly accepted. Once allies, Fun, Daybreak's fierce warrior, lunges at the king, flashing a wild grin while the guild organize for battle. Tuga oder en e Cyrillic letter 45640 len as Fun swings his deadly blade. The king dodges deftly, countering and sending Fun spinning away. Fun recovers fast, landing nimbly and quickly attacks again, this time with Lei by his side. Before the king can finish casting a powerful spell, the Archer of Daybreak disrupts him from above, knocking his weapon loose while Diane fastens him to the ground with vines. Helpless, the king steels himself as Fun and Lei hammer him from both sides, their combined might battering away his defenses. Their blades strike true, but Lei detects danger and quickly tells Fun to pull back and make some space. But too late, the king catches their arms and flings them with brutal force into the palace wall. The Daybreak Archer fires, but his own unseen arrow is redirected and impales him. The king seizes the moment, crushing Diane's summoned beast aiming next at her, but Shu blocks him with a raised shield. Frustrated, the king blasts Shu's shield with a hailstorm of punches, mocking him while he pounds. Shu shifts to his mighty half-demon form, vowing to honor his fallen allies. Once guarding, Shu lashes back at the king's onslaught, matching blow for blow with intense fury. Elsewhere, Lu and his allies hurry to support their injured Daybreak comrades, aiding their recovery. Amidst the uproar, Shu unveils his Daybreak slash, carving out a fleeting chance. Seizing the window, Lu lunges behind the king, slashing him powerfully in the back. This brief distraction allows the whole team to regroup, heal, and mount a synchronized assault on the king. Together, their might ravages the palace, sending shockwaves that threaten to collapse it in fiery ruin. Villagers cry out in surprise as flames burst from the palace, guards shouting for help to stop the spreading disaster. Inside, Lu's unit and the Daybreak Guild hold their breath for the haze to clear, knowing they struck with all they had. To their shock, the king steps from the debris nearly unharmed. Stranger still, his pair of minions live as well. The king sacrifices both minions instantly, absorbing their essence to further boost his strength. Sensing opportunity, the combined groups rush the king, intent to finally end him for good. Abandoning his intent to claim Lawu, the king channels his energy through his arms, smashing the ground and triggering a massive shockwave. The resulting blast trembles the realm, destroying the palace in mere moments. Even distant villagers feel the quake coursing underfoot. As quiet returns, every Daybreak and Lu's group member lies lifeless save for Lu, barely surviving. Spotting Lu alive, the king changes his mind and resolves to turn him into a vessel after all. Just then, the tome whirs into action, challenging Lu to a lone defeat and utterly embarrass the king with sheer might. Before stealing Lu's energy, the king halts, interested to see if Lu hides any last surprise. Instantly, Lu enters Ashura mode, exuding untamed power. The king admires Lu's dauntless spirit against all odds. With that, they collide in fierce combat, each unleashing unsparing strikes against the other. As the fight continues, the king notices Lu's agility and strength growing, leaving him unprepared. While the king is distracted, Lu grabs his face and drags him through the dirt with ruthless might. In retaliation, the king delivers a heavy punch sending Lu forth, then follows with overwhelming blows. Though the king fights valiantly, unease creeps in as Lu's spirit swells, shadowed by an Ashura dragon looming large. As the chaos continues, Lu suddenly hurls himself at the king, battering his face with razor-sharp horns. The king shoves Lu away, yet Lu returns to attack in a storm of fists, enduring and giving heavy blows. The battle remains intense, both warriors crashing together through debris, neither giving ground. Bones breaking, Lu only grows wilder, deeply ruffling the king, yet after a brief pause they clash again. Elsewhere, the host and guards watching the wrecked palace are left puzzled by the unfolding mayhem. Surprised, they witness Faye and the others stumbling from the ruins and hasten to offer aid. Amidst the duel, the king strains to match Lu, knowing he must utterly destroy him now. Leaping high, the king fires a fierce blast at Lu, but Lu's raw strength stops it with a sweep of his hand. Lu counters with his Ashura onslaught, a relentless strike that divides the king in two. he's bested. As his form weakens, the king crumples, desperately begging Lu and infernal purgatory to spare him. Startled by some inner noise, Lu suddenly sees a great digital fracture unfurling before him. From the ground, the hosts suspect Faye and company were injured by the sinister beast that ruined the palace. Their shock deepens as a vast digital rift swells overhead, the sky turning apocalyptic. Back near the ruins, the king breathes easy, believing infernal purgatory has come in answer to his cries. Lu, growing weary with the king's pleas, strikes cleanly, ending him. As he dies, the king wonders of the goddess. Lu realizes his brother Han might lie within and instantly leaps toward the strange rift. But just as Lu is about to go through, everything abruptly comes to a halt. At Purgatory's gate, Lu is immobilized when a floating orb appears, asking if he truly wishes to seek Han inside. The orb then reveals chillingly that Han is no longer alive. Lu's face fills with gloom, but before sadness takes hold, the orb confesses it was jesting. Soon, countless orbs appear debating if Lu can pass. As a way to resolve things, they opt for rock, paper, scissors. When their judge orb fails, the choice is sealed. Unified, they reject his request to enter. Out of nowhere, an enormous winged entity appears to announce that Lu's demise is near. With no pause, it releases a mighty surge of energy, blasting a gaping wound through Lu's chest. This prompts his VR suit's emergency ejection as a sudden elevation in heart rate gets detected. But the ejection attempt stalls, and a forced reboot starts that soon encounters its own errors. The winged being prolongs Lu's existence, letting him see the opening event his brother couldn't prevent. A tremendous digital fissure splits the virtual sky, a calamitous chasm threatening all below. Everywhere, players observe identical ominous skycracks forming, cutting through reality itself. These fractures unite into a vast, singular break, blending the two realms in a mesmerizing, fearsome display. With the worlds conjoined, Dwang and the other leading bosses are called to appear. Legions of bosses and monstrous fiends are suddenly transported into the world, prepared for havoc. The winged entity declares this is the dawn of a new game era. Janua version 2.0 Infernal Purgatory. At that moment, Lu's presence begins to fade away. As dark armies advance, players fight, but they are quickly defeated when struck by a formidable spike spell. Desperately fleeing, players find their escape stopped by Bloodclaw, who mercilessly crushes them with his attacks. The last survivors, shocked by the carnage, unite with drop teams to try a renewed offensive. Yet in a single blow, Dwang sends them all scattering like leaves swept away by the wind. Pleased with his might, Dwang orders allies to gather the slain souls and head to the Blood Moon for their compensation. His words fuel the creatures' excitement, pushing their assaults into an even more frenzied rage. Elsewhere, a young gamer lies on his bed playing VR, as his mother scolds him for his obsessive gaming habits. Growing frustrated by his silence, she yanks off his helmet and then recoils, shocked and horrified. Her child remains still, as if his spirit has been wholly drawn from his body. The same tragic scenario repeats around the world, with players ensnared by the game's dark design. Reports spread that almost 1 billion players are now trapped in-game, apparently at Destiny Corporation's mercy. Tensions rise as angry crowds gather outside the corporation's main office, demanding explanations. Meanwhile, security contains the mob while Destiny Corporation's CEO urges calm, promising a solution. Inside the company's meeting room, disorder reigns, shaking the board to its core. Exasperated leaders clash, fear growing as they dread the possible collapse of the corporation. The CEO commands silence, demanding a transparent account of the unfolding disaster. A technician explains the main signal was blocked overnight, trapping players' minds in the game world. He cautions that removing the VR gear could cause dangerous brain damage. As other rescue efforts collapse, debate erupts again until the CEO forcefully intervenes. He instantly arranges a meeting with the president and demands top engineers solve the problem now. Once the board leaves, the CEO gazes thoughtfully at his private monitor. He observes a live video from a shadowy lab where Luna lies still, tested for unknown reasons. The crisis stretches into a second day as Destiny Corporation's troubling story rapidly spreads. Officials urge families to check in on their loved ones for any unusual behavior. Heavy rains flood the city as blackout darkness descends, water rising high at the city's dam. Yet the dam workers are also trapped, unable to unlock the gates to release the swelling waters. Within the virtual world, a dam worker lies pinned by a rock, moments from a monster's deadly assault. With a flash, Faye arrives, swiftly vanquishing the creature to save the threatened worker. Hoping for information, Faye asks urgently for news of Lu, but the worker hasn't glimpsed him. Anxious, Faye springs upward, searching elsewhere to find his missing friend. During this time, Lu floats adrift in the shattered system, his senses fading in the gloom of death. At the critical moment, a lucky achievement reward bestows the resurrection coin upon him. The coin brings Lu back as a revenant in the graveyard, confronting the mage who waits for him. Yet Lu's overwhelming aura intimidates the sorcerer into instant apology. Elsewhere, a winged observer studying the program detects Lu's unlikely revival, unable to explain it. To solve the puzzle, the figure consults ethereal orbs, finding Lu's digital roots in Blood Moon City. Deciding to delegate, the figure refers the issue to the city's sovereign, who orders Lu's deletion. The Lord answers by sending his fiercest blood minion to end the looming threat. In the graveyard, Lu's apprehension deepens as he sees the players' and monsters' worlds now fully united. Death has become final. If a player falls, their soul is lost without return. A winged being is responsible for this turmoil. Still, Lu doesn't know who she truly is. Yet one detail is clear: his brother is captive in her realm. While Lu weighs his options, he catches sight of someone on top of a cliff. But before he responds, the blood slave appears behind him in an instant, ready to attack. Lu swiftly notices this blood slave outruns all rivals he's ever encountered. The slave calls forth his sword and strikes hard. Lu barely parries. Retributing, Lu casts his clone and blade at once, attacking from both flanks. Yet the blood slave retaliates with ease. A horse stomp rocks the field, hurling Lu and his copy away. When the dust clears, the slave descends from his horse, announcing his name and declaring he's here for Lu's life. Lu instantly senses this foe overpowers even the king he battled before. Weakened and vulnerable, Lu believes fleeing is his only hope. As Lu plans his escape, the blood slave dashes in a blink, landing a luminous blow that slices Lu's arm off. Gripped by pain, Lu unleashes his burst Godspeed, racing away as the pursuit commences. He starts to lose all feeling in his legs. The numbness spreads because of the incredible velocity he has attained. Knowing he can't keep running, Lu chooses to use the landscape for defense. He vaults into surging water, swiftly changing into fishman form to dive into the deep. The blood slave quickly responds, firing his blood war explosion. This blast burns away all the water at once, turning it into falling rain. As the torrent vanishes, the blood slave strolls over the revealed riverbed and soon finds Lu wounded, perched on a rock. Lu, barely holding on, is flooded by frustration with himself and wonders if this is the end he deserves. Right as his sight dims, a radiant beam plunges down, piercing the blood slave clean through. The blood slave's form instantly begins to crumble into oblivion. A shimmer fractures the air, and Lady Wu crosses the fissure, stepping out to help Lu. As the slave vanishes, the Moon Lord and his two aides arrive, his voice thundering as he demands why Lady Wu interfered. Lady Wu acts as if she knows nothing, but Lu suffers the crushing force of the Moon Lord's arrival, air dense and menacing. When the Moon Lord repeats himself, his fury grows immense, making all nearby life flee in frantic terror. The Moon Lord lists their duties, declaring his rule and demanding Lady Wu submit to his command. Yet Lady Wu insists that, as keeper of the funds, she must cut the Blood Moon budget due to scarcity and high taxes. Unshaken, the Moon Lord asserts his strength, insisting that his power makes him supreme. Lady Wu refuses to yield, firmly slashing the expenditures even further. Explaining her logic openly, Lady Wu lifts Lu up, stating she will take him along with her. The Moon Lord steps in, proclaiming that Master Yua has decreed Lu must die. On hearing this, Lady Wu complies but takes matters into her own hands rather than giving Lu to the Moon Lord. With a fierce burst, she takes Lu's head for her collection and confidently advances into her portal. Witnessing her actions, the Moon Lord's servants whisper in wonder, adding fuel to their master's wrath. Furious she obeyed Master Yu, not him, the Moon Lord seizes his minions, crushing them in trembling rage. Simmering with hatred, he vows to one day bend Lady Wu to his will, forcing her to kneel before him. Meanwhile, hidden in the Blood Moon City, Lu is restored in a blood bath as his frame slowly returns, while Lu and Lady Wu converse playfully, leaving Lu puzzled by their sudden confidence. Lady Wu steps into the blood pool, directly addressing Lu, admitting she sees neither profit nor loss in aiding him and wonders why she bothers. Lu confesses he feels even farther from his brother, though closer to truth, helpless against his struggles. In desperation, he does as owns for her asked assistance Ji, both leaving shy, his body still reforming, and at this, Lady Wu commands him to show his loyalty. To his shock, she demands a display of submission. Bashful at first, he does as owns for her asked Ji, both leaving shy, both shy. Turning aside, Lady Wu praises his resolve but remarks that, presently, he is much weaker than Master Yu. Wanting to guide him, she explains how ranks are structured in their realm. She says the lowest 9 ranks belong to the smallest beings, bugs and tiny animals. Ascending, demons of the 5th rank include blood slaves like the one that nearly slew Lu. Noticing Lu's disappointment, Lady Wu reassures him that these foes are fierce, only a rare few achieve such might. Continuing, she explains 4th rank holds great beasts, 3rd features masters like herself, the 2nd houses city lords such as Moon Lord, and the peak rank 1 is reserved for Master Yu. Nobody has ever seen her form, for as the goddess of monsters, she secretly presides over their world. Revealing this, Lady Wu notices Lu's determined expression and urges him to release his quest, but Lu refuses. His brother must return. He starts to falter, unable to see hope, dragging his brother into despair and branding himself as worthless. Unexpectedly, Lady Wu draws him into her embrace, offering comfort and insisting he stop blaming himself. She confides that every dream he chased was always to help others, never for his own sake. Lady Wu then wonders if he has ever truly felt joy in battle or delight in victory. The mention of joy jars Lu. At first, combat for him was just a way to locate his brother. As his power grew, battles lost their thrill. But as the tale advanced, he yearned once more for that anger unleashed in clashes. Still, real happiness from fighting eluded him until he and his team faced the Daybreak Guild in true rivalry. For the very first time, Lu savored not just triumph, but the ecstasy found only amid the fight itself. He longed to strike at his foes with abandon. Letting feelings overflow, he began to shift into a white tiger. Lady Wu, amazed, realizes she has awakened a formidable spirit inside him. Eventually, Lady Wu tells Lu to get off her lap, which leaves him feeling rather awkward. He pulls himself together, asks his next steps, but Lady Wu has no idea. She stumbles to answer, accidentally showing her uncertainty. But then a sudden recollection surfaces. His brother Han had mentioned the Southern Hall Master knows a secret art to make one's body stronger. Lu has full faith in Han's words. Lady Wu agrees they should seek it out but cautions him before he leaves. Relations with the other halls are poor. If they learn who taught him, guilt could fall and only he can save himself. Wearing a skeleton disguise, Lu weaves through Blood Moon City's throngs of monsters. His thoughts churn, sorting out everything that's past. He sees that to gain true strength, he must make the city his battleground, eliminate his enemies and find his brother. His first stop is Southern Hao Tower, where the Southern Hall's master indulges in gourmet food. Lu is stopped at the gate by the guards, who want a reason for his visit. Unfazed, he boldly says he's here to dine. The guards mock him, laughing as one lands a blow and calls him unworthy. Recalling Lady Wu's advice to rely on himself, Lu gets back up and faces the guards again. As they ready another beating, he swiftly claims he's a chef at the hall master's request. This time, the guards quickly apologize and grant him entry without protest. Inside, a monstrous aide receives Lu and leads him deeper into the hall. As he trails behind her, he catches whispers from diners marveling at the wonderful cuisine. She escorts him to the basement where 4 chefs are deeply immersed in crafting dishes. Lu must wait his turn. The chefs devote all their energy and expertise, each aspiring to stand out and be noticed. With the final seconds fading, the host calls that time has finished, and staff quickly gather the plates. Tension hangs heavy as the chefs watch their work being carried away to the judging hall. After a while, the host returns bearing the judgments and begins harshly pointing out their failings. When the chefs beg for forgiveness, they are executed instantly, with no chance for mercy. Lu remains indifferent as the assistant touches his shoulder, telling him his moment has arrived. The assistant leads Lu to the dressing area to change, while he quietly fumes at Lady Wu for deceiving him again into joining what is no ordinary cook-off. Feeling a mix of reluctance and anxiety, Lu walks inside and immediately spots a huge man across from him, his rival. The large opponent looks displeased, scoffing at Lu and grumbling that he's insulted by such a weak match. He glares at Lu and hardens his manner, shutting the door with force. Yet another chef responds in contrast, complimenting Lu's energy instead of showing hostility. He warns, however, that only one will leave alive. Lu now senses the truth: the risk is fatal, not just defeat. When Lu is changed, the competition starts. Every chef, Lu among them, readies at their assigned station. The host steps forth and lays out the rules. Contestants must work with what's given to them, racing against time to finish their dish within 60 minutes. As Lu stares down at the pan, a memory stirs, cooking for his brother who always cherished his food. Nostalgia lingers, but he focuses. On cue, the host instructs them to unveil their ingredients, allotting 2 minutes for examination. Lu draws in a slow breath, reveals his tray, and instantly freezes in shock. Before him lies not fresh produce, but the lifeless body of the prior chef. The host warns everyone that spoiling ingredients through poor skill is unacceptable and inexcusable. After a brief, aimless ramble, he formally launches the cooking contest. The chef with flowing hair receives an enormous wild boar's head. The bald, grumpy chef gets goblin flesh. Meanwhile, Lu stands numb as he surveys the spoiled meat, his mind in a whirl of questions. Turning this into something edible seems a lost cause. But after pondering, insight dawns: he'll combat the rot with fiery spice and umami, creating a dish with bold Sichuan flavors. Inspired by his strategy, he chooses the tender portion and gets to work. Marination is vital, as such poor meat demands time to take in the flavors and become somewhat tasty. As he moves with care, the chef with flowing hair takes note, visibly struck by his bold approach to the hard ingredient. Yet both he and the bald chef stay busy with their own work, fiercely pounding and preparing their chosen meats. With 20 minutes to go, the room fills with the sharp crackle of meat sizzling on hot pans. Lu focuses intently, frying his seasoned tenderloin, intent on delivering his best. The two-headed chef, meanwhile, remains absorbed in his challenging task. 2 human heads on the bench, his hands begin to shake as the weight of the contest bears down upon him. Giving in to rising terror, he draws his own blade and cuts his throat, crimson arcing out, tainting Lu's meat and spattering the workspaces of the others as he falls. Lu quickly tells the judge his dish is spoiled, but the host brushes it aside, insisting he keep cooking at the Holmes' command. Even as Lu objects, the host assures him that 15 minutes remain and urges him to carry on. When Lu checks his blood-soaked meat, his anxiety grows heavier. A harsh, fishy odor rises around him, and lacking time to re-marinate, his hope wanes. Meanwhile, the chef with lush hair fashions delicate dumplings from pork, his graceful motions resembling a dance. The bald chef, focused, shapes troll meat into meatballs that unexpectedly look pleasing. Lu sees the others near the finish while his own workspace sits barren. With only 8 minutes left, his outlook is grim, yet he clings to determination, hurriedly frying what he has, hopeful against the odds. As the final seconds slip away, the host sounds the buzzer and instructs the cooks to present their creations. The chef with flowing locks displays his masterful dumplings. The bald chef brings out his troll delights. Each offering, including Lu's, sits waiting before the host for careful judgment. After a brief pause, the host reveals that one particular dish has captured the Holmes' special attention. Suddenly, the great circular wall opens to reveal a giant creature behind the host. Atop the tremendous belly sits the Holmie of the South. She begins with compliments for the flowing-haired chef, rewarding his work with advancement to the next stage. She tastes the bald chef's troll meatballs and approves, granting him a spot in the qualification round. But as she samples his meatball soup, her face goes cold. Accordingly, displeased, she simply grabs her cleaver and with ruthless pace cuts the bald chef down. Lu, stunned, can hardly grasp how swiftly her judgment was delivered. The motion escapes his eye, it's that quick. Now for Lu, the Holmie says, surprised as she inspects his meal. She looks at the chaotic sight before her, clearly bewildered, and doubts if it even counts as food. Jai raises her cleaver, but Lu insists he's served a genuine dish: scrambled eggs with tomatoes. The chef with thick hair bursts out laughing, ridiculing Lu for presenting something so basic. At first he had taken Lu seriously, but now views him as nothing but a comic figure. Yet Lu remains optimistic, aware that this pairing is new to these lands and hoping this novelty will help him. Despite how ordinary it seems, Jai gives it a chance. After the first taste, she is struck by its flavor and moves to declare a victor. Lu and the chef both watch nervously, each eager to see who will be named the winner. All at once, the chef with wild locks objects, accusing Lu of not using the proper ingredients and demanding disqualification. Before his speech continues, a flash cuts through the air, cleaving him apart as easily as if slicing a cucumber for a salad. The swift justice comes from Jai herself, impatient with his endless arguing. Though the chef was truly the superior cook, his demise settles things. Jai names Lu as the victor. Lu introduces himself and Jai inquires what reward he seeks. Without delay, Lu drops to one knee and explains his longing to learn Jai's secret technique to build strength. Jai finds his wish simple enough but asks first about his rank. When he confesses ignorance, she tells him to bare his chest and come with her. Alongside her fearsome beast, Jai guides him to a looming tower called the Rank Tower. This ancient tower reveals people's ranks as they enter, with 6 floors corresponding to levels from worst to most fearsome. Expressing gratitude, Lu strides in. Entering the poor first floor, Lu meets an assassin rabbit. He quickly takes off its head without a struggle and moves forward. Beyond the tower's walls, Jai's beastly companion challenges her for having sent Lu into the rabbit cage tower even though he triumphed. Jai wears a sly smile and shares her doubts. Feeling Lady Wu's scent on Lu, she suspects him to be one of her spies. As the monster presses further, Jai abruptly slams her fist down, pinning him, and announces she only promised one answer. With a playful smirk, she watches Lu's challenge, sure she's ensnared him at last. Within the tower, Lu ascends to the next tier, Warrior, handily overcoming an enormous rabbit swinging a mallet. On floor 3, using his clone skill and rending strike, he brings down a learned rabbit without issue. At the 4th level, he faces a remarkably strong, staff-wielding rabbit. This new opponent challenges Lu to a fierce battle full of energetic blows. As the encounter heats up, Lu realizes this evil spirit-ranked rabbit matches Fun's fighting skills. Yet as the rabbit's assault continues without pause, Lu discovers a chance to strike. With a powerful blow, Lu hurls the rabbit into the wall, finally overcoming his fierce foe. On the 5th demon floor, after 3 years and 8 minutes, Lu confronts the menacing shadow rabbit. The rabbit says, "I wield 5 swords, each to be used once. If you survive, you may continue." Lu accepts and readies himself as the rabbit quickly draws the first blade. In a heartbeat, the sword slices the air, hitting Lu and sending him hurtling from the impact. Lu shakily stands and demands the rabbit unleash the second attack. The rabbit obliges, firing a colossal wave of energy Lu's way. Lu blocks the blast, but its sheer force pushes him across the floor relentlessly. Though only 2 swords have struck, Lu senses his body nearing collapse. Aware that the third attack will be harsher still, Lu formulates a new plan. Blending his shadow clone craft with the hidden abyss, Lu surprises the rabbit. The rabbit, impressed, lauds the ploy but quickly parries. As he unveils his third sword, he wipes out the clone and stops the abyss spell, tossing Lu aside. Sensing the fight escalating, Lu shifts into his powerful Ashura state. Noticing the transformation, the rabbit remarks Lu is no ordinary foe. Then, drawing his 4th blade, the rabbit unleashes another swing. Lu tries to defend, but the crushing blow drives into his abdomen, knocking him to the earth again. Though Lu is downed, the rabbit applauds him for making him draw the feared 4th sword. Meanwhile, coughing blood, Lu notices an unexpected change. His strength has greatly increased since entering Wu's blood pool. Bolstered, Lu uprights himself and insists on facing the 5th strike. So the rabbit reveals the gift blade, a strangely ethereal weapon, shocking Lu. Unlike any blade of steel, this one severs the spirit, not the body. Readying himself, Lu braces as the rabbit swings this spectral weapon. The sword's touch leaves Lu dying for breath, struck by a haunting vertigo. He understands now, this isn't a bodily attack but one of the mind. Suddenly, the world around him dissolves and he's engulfed by an immense, barren expanse. Facing him, he and the rabbit sit atop a great scale, swords poised above as the rabbit chatters about the harmony of suffering and joy. While the scale tips favorably to his rival, Lu sees it's a battle of minds and starts sharing his view, that pain and sweetness must balance. The rabbit argues back, saying pain and delight ought to be equal if Lu's belief holds any truth. Lu defies this reasoning, their debate growing heated, convictions about fate and dying clashing. Then the scene twists. A snowy landscape unfolds in Lu's sight before breaking apart, exposing the ground below them. Standing anew, the rabbit surrenders, confessing he still doesn't grasp the truth of mortality and existence. Lu replies that every person holds a unique view, no more similar than leaves on a tree. Intrigued, the rabbit compliments Lu's insight and gives him passage to the next level. But as Lu moves to depart, the rabbit reveals a shadowy grin, warning, "We shall cross paths once more." At the 6th floor, vigilant, Lao feels instantly uneasy, thinking he isn't strong enough to continue here. Contrary to his fears, an elderly rabbit awaits, nonchalantly inviting Lu to a game of 5 in a row. Distrusting the setup, Lu triggers his defense and lunges at the rabbit, blade poised. To Lu's surprise, his target proves to be nothing but a deceptive vision. Caught off guard, he feels the old rabbit seize his wrist, as if quietly measuring his power. Annoyed, Lu rains down blows which simply pass through the rabbit's intangible form. Unfazed, the rabbit tells him to strike quicker, then unexpectedly flicks a single piece, instantly defeating Lu, who finds himself abruptly returned to the starting floor. Perplexed, Lu speculates whether he somehow succeeded in the ranking challenge. But with a mischievous smile, the rabbit reveals this isn't a famous tower, just a rabbit cage, Lu the target of the master's jest. This revelation leaves Lu completely stunned. Meanwhile, in Dong Yui's hall, Lady Wu is surrounded by mountains of receipts as she works in her office. Glancing up, she wonders about Lu for a moment but quickly brushes off the concern, knowing she shouldn't dwell on him. She sighs, opts for a nap. Back in the city, it's the 5th day, power is still out, players fill hospitals, some gravely ill. The enormity of dire cases threatens to overwhelm the hospital's capacity. Even after attempting resuscitation, many patients remain beyond doctors' help. With death all around, the hospital team is losing its sense of hope. All that's left to do is give nourishment and fluids, surrendering the rest to destiny. Meanwhile, in Paxis, a neutral city where violence is forbidden, the world turns chaotic. The safe haven has turned hostile, monsters flooding its streets preying on players. These beasts spare no one, mercilessly destroying any they find. A handful of players lie in hiding, desperately grasping what little hope remains. With no way to exit the game, their destiny is chained and unchangeable. Their leader speaks inspiring words, trying to spark a hint of hope for their freedom. Suddenly, a colossal monster crashes through their refuge, forcing them into the open. Recognizing the beast before him, the leader stands paralyzed. It is the dreaded serpent demon. The vicious creature strikes fast, severing his head in one swift move and feasting on it. The last two, overcome by dread, dash away in sheer panic. One betrays, slicing his companion's leg while insisting he won't die and using the other as bait. Yet this treachery is in vain. The serpent demon catches up and releases her deadly breath, ending both their lives instantly. As her victims' souls drift free, she hungrily devours their essence. Her feast ending, she spies 2 robed figures in the distance. One robed figure steps forward, searching for someone, asking if the demon saw a dark-skinned man with twin blades. Unmoved, the serpent dismisses the inquiry, far more intrigued by the thought of devouring them. Her indifference provokes the anger of the cloaked stranger. Before she acts, Faye bursts forth cloaked in flames, delivering a fierce assault. His anger endless, Faye furiously subdues her and questions if she's met his brother. Chili, the second robed one, rushes forth to intervene. But blinded by feeling, Faye incinerates the demon's remains. Chili hugs Faye to calm him, knowing his struggle. Yet Faye will not relent.